You can open. Oh yeah,
Right. Moving on to welcome back. We are going to begin with the idea. Okay, so this is a part of the day when we are doing the workshop, new wood plan. It's great. And I think it might be Gillian's first workshop when she comes back in. So it's been nice for intro. We've had a few as a group before. We've done a bunch of work. Ben's going to be joining in with us. The workshop is about, I'll wait till Tyrone gets back in so that we're all on the same page. Yeah, working together, getting a plan, looking what we've done, getting a plan, reviewing it, all that good stuff. So today, the workshop is about assessing the board's progress against the goals that we made at the beginning of the term. We all first met each other and had a few meetings and we did a bit of a plan. So it's also identifying the action that can be taken to achieve the goals. So we should all have a copy of the working document, the board plan that we've considered, and start on what we've achieved. Some of us have reported back on some of the things we've achieved and we've added to that and updated that. We might just need that door closed behind you there. Maybe the other door. I know it's a lovely day, but it can get a bit noisy. Thank you. And then we'll have a look. So we'll go through this. We've got about an hour and a half, 90 minutes to go through this. We'll go through what's been achieved so that we all know we're all on the same page. And then we're going to have a little look about what needs more work and what might not have been achievable. Do you want me to go through the steps? Okay. Step one is the what. So it's identifying the need to focus on over the next year and to achieve the best outcome of the board, plan. And how we're going to do that is work through the working document to confirm what's been achieved for those that are not achieved, decide whether the goals and the measures are still relevant and if that's achievable. Okay. And then there's step two, which we'll do later. Do you want me to mention it now? Yes. Apparently it's a no. Might be too much information at once. We'll just do a little bit by a little bit. We will do it.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I'm glad you're all comfortable now with the lollies provided by our chair. And welcome to anybody watching on live stream as well. Yes, so I'm just going through step one with you, which is identifying what you've achieved, what you still need to achieve and what might not be achievable, so that we can identify what we focus on for the next year. So this is just supposed to be 15 to 20 minutes, going through it quickly to see if you agree with what I've put on the right-hand side, achieved, no progress made, and all of that. And I did add in some of the comments that you have sent to me by email over the last week or two. So that should be all up to date. So while we're working through this, can you please keep in mind the upcoming annual plan submission and where there might be a need to advocate to bring forward. And as we go through the goals and measures, you can tell me if there's an action the board or the EM has taken that contributes to meeting the goal that's not recorded so that we can consider adding them. But this part isn't about looking at what we can do. That's the next step. That's step two. So this is just supposed to be quite quick. So we'll start with A1.
Can I just ask a question? Do we have that? So because it's quite small, do we have that sent through to us updated? No, that's fine. We can just zoom in. Just zoom in. Thank you. I might need to go see my optometrist.
Okay, so the first one is A1, which was encourage and support community-led resilience planning, including the identification of hazards and risks. And I think we've achieved that for those reasons on the right. Does everybody agree with that?
I think there's been a huge amount of work done, so I absolutely agree with it.
Yep. Achieved. Very good. A2.
But it's ongoing as well. Like it's just, but it's been really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the thing.
Absolutely. We're not
It's been a
saying
real
that you
success.
stop working on it. They're definitely all ongoing, but we need to identify where we really need to focus attention next year to achieve other priorities. So A2, encourage the use of ecological initiatives to mitigate natural hazards where appropriate. I think we've achieved that. Does everyone agree? Yep. A3. Let's go through it. You will have all read through all these, no doubt. Yeah. So you already have an idea whether you agree or not.
Yeah, it's just a reminder of what we're agreeing to. Yeah.
Particularly A3.
Agree with A3?
Yeah.
Okay. A4. This is where we haven't had any progress recorded. So landowners are supported in their efforts to fence off land for natural regeneration of forest with assistance as requested. That's under your measure of success. So unless somebody comes forward requesting that, it's very hard for you to meet that measure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not happening.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, we have educated a number of community initiatives like through biodiversity fund. So
Or being in
I
the
mean, that specific thing hasn't, no one's asked us for one, but
being in liaison groups as well.
sure we'd be happy to give one.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right. No one, the point with this one, because it was such a specific objective
it is very.
that no one's asked you for a letter of support for that.
Yeah. So it's when you met that measure of success,
Yes.
you were so specific
We
about
did
it.
that.
Yeah.
Have we done anything to support?
It's a specific thing, a letter.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a doable
Yeah.
thing.
And so that's important to note when we're moving forward for our next step is what is our measures of success.
Yes. So do you think this is achievable in the long term? Shall we just, there's not really anything you can do about it.
Unless someone comes to us.
That's
Yeah.
Just on that comment that says, launch a campaign so landowners are aware of, I mean,
Isn't that
Well,
already happening through the conservation
that
trust?
we can just support that.
That can come up in step 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is just.
Yeah.
All agree?
Yep. 100%.
Yep.
It's been very successful.
Excellent. A6 achieved.
Virus.
It is ongoing.
Ongoing.
I'd say, there'd be lots of people that would say they're still very concerned about fire risk and it's just ongoing, but we've done what we can. And
Absolutely. And we've had things in CCC and community work together. So you've met your measure of success. You've met that according to your measure of success.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going with that being achieved. A7 achieved.
Yep.
You agree there?
Wherever you're happy here.
Good. A8. No progress recorded. Your measure of success was that solar panels are installed on suitable council-owned properties. So again, that's quite a really ambitious measure of success there.
I don't think we're a million miles away from that happening though, are we?
But at this point in time,
Where's the money?
Remembering that this is a public meeting, I'm not sure what's actually.
Isn't there a local group, in one of our communities working with council to install? Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's still very.
yeah.
not the council
okay,
owns
so-
the buildings.
Okay, so that's something that might happen in the next year.
I mean, so the advocacy's done, like I mean, it's ongoing. We might get the outcome that we're after, but the measure is to advocate. Yeah.
So once again, that's probably around how we think about.
Yeah.
The trust is not.
We're still, we're still advocating, aren't we?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is just to
Yeah.
help us
Come to us.
look forward and think about how we, what, you know, do we want to continue that? How we measure that success? Do we put that down for next spending plan?
The advocacy is advocacy. Should we have had that in the LTP? I don't think we have.
Great question. Keep that, write that down. Yeah.
In the annual plan.
Karen, Linda, you're doing that.
Okay. B9, I'd say that's almost achieved, but here again, under your measure of success, you've got that there must be an agreed process for monitoring reporting in place. And there isn't one at the moment. So I've got almost achieved there.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been
Okay.
continuing to ask them for an update on that. So that's very relevant.
Is it, can we ask council to use appropriate language in the next letter of expectation to Christchurch NZ?
That's part of step 2. That's the next step. Yeah.
write it down.
This is just yeah, write it down.
The actions could be for step 2.
Yeah. I'm just running through
Oh,
it very
sorry.
quickly.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm getting ahead of
that's
myself.
okay. So B10, I think that's achieved, agreed?
Yep, signed off.
Yeah.
Yep.
C11, achieved?
I'll put in there.
B. Oh, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. C12, achieved?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. C13. Here we go. Your,
Yeah.
it says under C13, advocate that where appropriate, new or upgraded public toilets on Banks Peninsula are environmentally friendly with new technologies explored. So that terminology, environmentally friendly toilets with new technology explored, I didn't find any evidence that the board had advocated for that. So that's another really specific thing that I'm not sure has happened.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Cool.
All right. So C14, what does the board think about this one? I put there, there is an assumption that the board advocated for completion of assessment of Banks Peninsula sites of ecological significance on Banks Peninsula. So do you consider that achieved, or do you think you need to do some more work?
In terms of monitoring, no, I think I haven't seen any evidence of monitoring the current SCS on the peninsula.
But it doesn't say anything about monitoring.
The board received that very big memo from Mark Stevenson about this significant sites. So there's a whole lot of information in there that was part of this. But that's all the assessment. I think it did say it could be assessed.
But the measure there is progress. Progress is made and undertaking the assessment.
Right.
You need to go back to that memo and read
Yep.
it again.
So the measure of success, according to the measure of success, then you think that's achieved.
As long as whatever's in the report.
It wasn't about assessing.
Yeah, an assessment, yes, yep. And
So
then
we
Question
can
mark around assessment.
move
Yeah.
forward. Yeah.
Again, it's one of those very.
Can we put that, I'll write that down. What number is it?
C14.
C14. And we'll talk about that in part 2 about assessment.
Okay, C15. I've got progressing there because that is something that there's a process for reclassification to go through first, and that's in progress. C16. Do you believe that's achieved or not? I wasn't quite sure.
Oh, that's right, absolutely.
Think about that. Yep. Okay, we'll go achieved with that one. Yes. D17.
And the company will services of road and road structures. We're all over that time. We've driven all over.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, achieved.
Well,
Just
come on.
yeah, just put Tyrone next to it, yeah. He's done it.
Good shape.
Tyrone's done an inspection.
Just see what that looks like.
We didn't have as bad a winter this year as we did
No, it is very.
So, you know,
That's right.
Yeah.
so at this stage.
Liz has got something for us.
Do you actually understand current levels of service for marine structures?
Where was that one?
That's under, so with the measure of
So-
success in G17, that's the ones that I'm kind of skimming through.
Oh, yeah.
The measure of success, the middle bracket, we understand the current levels of service for rural roads, but do we understand them for marine structures?
In terms of wharf on this side, we are having, 3 wharfs that are being worked as we speak.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the posts.
So Devotional needs work, Winery needs some work. So we are aware of, but yeah,
I think it's
Yeah, I'm writing it down there.
Partially achieved.
yeah.
Yeah.
Partly, yeah.
The marine structure that comes to mind. That's been damaged is the Wainui Wharf.
Yeah, and that we haven't achieved.
Right up, yeah.
Okay, good
There's
point.
been some work done on the slipway, but not,
So are you saying that's achieved or not achieved?
Partially achieved.
Partially achieved.
I've written that down to bring that up in part two.
The levels of service have been sufficient to meet the need that has been presented with it during this,
That's
yeah.
that's the point I'm
that,
making.
But this is supporting community resilience though.
Yeah.
So it's under priority E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Current levels of service, it's really
It is.
specific.
It
It's not
is.
saying advocate for
Mm.
levels of service for rural roads and marine structures to improve them. It's
Okay.
actually, you as a board understand the levels of service.
Yeah, no, that's, once again, there's.
yeah, partly
Reading of measures of success, okay?
And there's probably things you can do about that in the coming year.
17.
Cool.
Right.
D13, achieved? Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, D18. Sorry about that. D18.
Yeah.
Yep. D19. So this one, we have a note here. This was about the creation of rating districts with Environment Canterbury to support local land drainage works. But ECAN staff have reported that these rating districts are unlikely to be effective in small communities where the population size means the amount of income from them would be minimal. So that's not really achievable. You agree? So
Yeah, I would say, and this didn't come up during the MP exercise, so yeah,
not achievable.
I
Yeah.
I
Okay,
agree with that.
great. E20. Do you agree that's achieved?
Yes. Yeah, in lots of ways.
Yeah.
As
Yep.
you say,
Yes, yeah,
Too many points to list.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
E21. Do you agree that's achieved?
it's better off fund, yeah.
Excellent. E22. So I've got part of it is achieved because we've got the route between Cooptown and Little River Primary School. That connection's
Yeah.
done, but not between West Littleton and Littleton Primary School or Governors Bay and Diamond Harbour connections. So that's what's not achieved. Agreed?
well, the
Yeah.
first one's irrelevant now anyway.
Okay.
But what do you think of
The
this one
West,
relevant?
West Littleton, and because it doesn't exist.
No, it's from the west
Oh,
of
the
Littleton
west.
to the main school.
Oh, it doesn't, well, it shouldn't have a W, capital W. Yes, right.
Okay, E23.
Can I just say though, just on that, like, the Maita Hotel coming down helped that. That wasn't directly the board's impact, but I mean, it's all part of it. So, but it's mostly achieved. Yeah,
Well done. Yes.
you're right to say mostly achieved,
Yeah.
not entirely achieved.
E23, I've put mostly achieved because those walking connections within Rāpaki haven't been.
No, but they're in train, aren't they? Possibly.
Do you agree with mostly achieved?
Yeah, mostly achieved.
Yeah, okay, yeah. E24, no progress recorded. Advocate for improved cycling access and facilities around the Peninsula.
Nothing.
Haven't seen any of that.
Well, you
Okay.
could say that the walkway in Little River is actually part of that.
Yeah,
Very good.
It's the only one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Little River-
Cooptown.
E24.
Little River to
So what's
Cooptown.
in Water
Yeah.
Little River?
Cycle
What
way.
a shared
Well,
walkway.
shared walkway.
Shared, yeah, cycleway,
Sure.
walk a Kotari.
It's true.
Is that sufficient to say that that's achieved then?
No.
Partly achieved.
Well,
Okay.
it's one place, not around, isn't it? So, yeah. It's
There
not efficient enough to say achieved.
We'll say partly.
was, sorry, was it planned before this board term
There's a
or?
lot of advocating for it to
Well,
continue.
yeah,
I think
just-
there's still work for that that we
Okay.
Yeah, but we're claiming it, okay.
Yeah.
You finished it. right?
Yeah, someone's got to finish the race.
You could also argue that this board has supported the
Early decisions.
Erdemo Reserves Management Committee in getting their space tidied up. There are cycling tracks, there are mountain bike tracks in
mountain
there.
bike tracks.
Yeah, true.
Lynn, were you at the meeting at the boardroom the other day last week about the pathway from the township to the Little River Inn? You were there, eh?
Yeah.
You were there in your capacity as the board chair.
Yeah.
Early days for you to get involved, but like
Oh,
it's,
kind of, I had two hats, I had my trust hat on,
which hat did you have on?
both.
Can't have, you've got two heads, Lynn.
Two hats. Well, that hasn't come to the board yet.
No.
Okay, so
But if the board chair was
E24
there advocating.
E24 is still partly achieved. Yeah. E25,
Sorry, for E23, isn't that the Casbah up to the summit? I mean, if you were going to put examples into it,
Is that cycling access?
but
No,
they,
it's not.
the
It's like
advocating for the
E23.
next.
It's walking connection.
Oh, sorry, yeah, good call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
So that's E23, sorry, either E23 or E24. Sorry.
okay. Ready to move on?
Yep.
Okay, E25, support car share community transport schemes on the Peninsula.
That was something that was really being pushed by the Wairua Trust and for various reasons didn't make any. Ground.
So it's not really going to be achievable in the next year, is it?
No.
No. I'll put not achievable there. Agreed.
I think Diamond Harbour were interested, but I think they were trying to follow up on something that they tried to do. I don't know if they have time to do it in the next one, but they had a chat about. Yeah.
So do you think that's maybe achievable then?
Yeah, it depends who wants to take it forward, I think, but
It's kind of outside your sphere
Yeah,
of influence,
that's
isn't
right.
it, as a
Yeah.
board?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
not that you.
but you know, the other communities get that.
Okay. F26, does the board think that's been achieved?
No. 26.
F26,
Oh, noise camera trial. What, there was, the
yeah.
poll was put in place, what was that?
No.
the board agreed to work with New Zealand Police to identify hotspots for Kotuitui smart poles, which improve connectivity in the community, are equipped with smart features, including a free Wi-Fi network, CCTV cameras linked to the police network, advanced lighting fixtures, pedestrian and vehicle counters, and speakers for public alerts.
Naval
that-
Point.
Is
have
that a
something.
community-led noise camera trial?
Well, we did have a discussion with the police around, and there were some issues around the, I think the privacy issues and how that was going to be managed. So I think we've got a block on that.
So the wording that we've used in there has held us up a bit with the noise camera trial. Okay.
But you did receive deputations and public forums and
Yeah.
asked about it, so you've actually.
So we've
in terms of
engaged
your
with the
measure-
community.
In terms of your measure of success, you can tick.
Oh,
that.
true, that's true. Yeah, sorry. good
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
So
Is there?
I mean, have we made a difference? You'd argue no.
No.
But it's a measure of success.
Have the police done everything they can to help us resolve the issue? I would say no.
No, because they have
Do they
cameras
think they
operating,
have? Probably.
they have cameras operating all through Auckland and different parts of the country, so.
I've just been so disappointed with the police on this.
Okay.
whole issue.
You've received deputation, so that's. a
That's
change.
going in the newspaper.
Staff actively work.
Hope so.
Staff are actively.
I'm with you on that.
And they are reporting back, and you are getting police updates, you've got one coming in very soon.
Right.
Good.
And they don't. So we do may not be the polls, you don't mention the polls in your measures of success, so it may not be polls, it may be some other device.
Yeah.
So the question is, are we doing what we can under our measures of success? And that looks like yes. Would everybody agree?
Yeah,
I'm seeing somebody.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Do you think that this needs more action, or do you think, are you happy that it's achieved and you don't need to put any particular focus on it over the
I
coming year?
think I would say to be safe side, needs more work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needs more work?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I mean, we haven't implemented, like,
Yeah.
we put that in place because we wanted to see some
Some positive
implementation of some
change.
technology to try and help solve a problem that's just plagues.
Yeah,
so we'll say partly achieved.
Yeah, and I've written that down as a more discussion for part two.
It's not
F20
entirely within our control, but this is just
Exactly.
yeah, it's so frustrating.
Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind when you're doing, I've put mostly achieved. You've got on your measures of success, staff actively work on this issue and report back to the board. But that top bullet point there is about a board submission on the bylaw review, and staff don't report back on bylaw submissions. So you have received 2 police updates, one at Little River and one at Littleton.
Okay, I'm happy with mostly achieved.
Yep, mostly achieved. Okay, F28. Is your measure of success again, and an appropriate budget for work is allocated, and you didn't include it in the LTP submission, and there's no budget allocated.
Facility to do legislation, but I know one of our advisors is moving from community. and something else. In case they-
It's kind of tied in, is it? So we'll come back to that. Next, chief.
You definitely did advocate it. You did advocate for it, and you advocated for funding in the 2023-24 draft annual plan submission for the
yeah, that's right.
Tui hotspots. So if you're just looking at what the board will do, then you could say you've achieved that one.
This where the measures of success is somewhat out of alignment with what the board will do.
Measures of success are a little bit unrealistic.
Advocate, they were saying advocate, and then the Banks Peninsula Stormwater Management Plan is completed, the 2 different things.
Yeah.
That's the thought.
So would you like to change that one to achieved, or leave it that you'll do more work on that? F28.
Well, that ship sailed to some degree, hasn't it? So
Well, we've advocated.
Need
Yeah.
more work.
Yeah.
We could. It fits in with 27 and 26, so all together.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll say mostly.
Yeah.
And then we'll discuss it
Discuss.
later.
Okay. G29. That's achieved. Agreed?
That's ongoing too, so yeah.
I can't see it. Which was it?
Stormwater management.
Although it's not,
We have educated to work, I don't know at what stage,
That's right.
how much we wanted to achieve, so.
We'll just put achieved and just put ongoing as a note beside that.
Yeah, I mean, we've done
Yeah.
heaps in Little River.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's something we want to keep.
The plan, that's why I said the plan and the advocacy are not necessarily aligned as a market measure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
G30, I've got no progress recorded there. Advocate at long-term plan hearings for funding to address flooding of rural origin. Is that rural origin
Oh, it's a rural origin.
terminology there, i.e. from hills around settlements which will not receive automatic funding through the LTP as part of a stormwater management plan. So
Gotcha,
that's
yeah.
not to do with.
Not to do with Oscar.
So
It was
Yeah.
part of your, it was part of your submission.
There was part of the submission.
You've got to reply from house.
Did you put flooding of rural origin in the submission?
Not from.
Did we not?
Oh, yes, we did. And we were all with it.
Yes, we did, yeah,
Did put it
Yes, I
in.
had put it on them.
We'll come back to that one.
Okay,
because we mentioned that climate change adaptation is not just about sea level rise, it's flooding as well, so we include it there. It is there.
okay, we'll come back to that one. G31. I've put no relevant progress recorded.
Because it's that measure of success, high levels of investment.
Yeah.
Lot of groups.
One would suggest that's happening now around Akaroa, possibly.
This is Whakapō, this is Littleton Harbour.
Oh, it's
Yes.
Littleton.
Yeah.
Oh,
Feedback from the regional folks.
Healthy harbour.
Well, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, you sit up there.
Agreed.
What can we do? I mean, no relevant progress recorded, like, so. I mean, high levels of investment in stormwater management. There has been investment in stormwater management. I mean,
So you've got issues with the wording of the measurement.
it's not like things haven't happened. It's just whether or not the board's had an impact on doing it.
We
Yeah, I don't know.
liaison.
Yeah, no relevant progress recorded, I suppose.
I remember there was a presentation to the board about the water quality.
Yes.
They would potentially be talking about
Yeah.
the harbor, Mangukai, so.
Yeah. So you had the presentation from the staff, but
Yes.
your priority says, or what you will do says support the Whakaroa Healthy Harbour program of work to restore the ecological and cultural health. So how has the board supported that?
It's gone to council funding, but not to board. I sit on the Whakaora as a liaison and you sit as a
Oh, yeah, and
council governance, yeah.
Okay, so it's more around.
So it's more-
we're doing a lot of advocacy.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of,
That do.
well, what things we can't do, how does the board do high levels of investment to that? So, yeah, okay, question mark around the measurement again.
Okay. And then we've got those other steps down there. Councillors are aware of rural flooding issues on Banks Peninsula and funding is allocated to help address this. So we have got almost achieved. We've got tiring going around. We've also got that the flooding, the Little
Flooding
River flooding group, haven't we?
Yeah. But I mean, flooding in Port Levy is kind of been sort of part of the coastal hazards adaptation work as well, right? Like that's kind of folded into that.
Yeah.
True. Funding provided to support biodiversity and both. I think council's put a lot of money on budget in the LTP for that, and you know that all flows through from. I mean, I'd be surprised if there was nothing in our board submission that didn't say that,
No, it's the biodiversity.
because it was quite a successful, by most measures, LTP for biodiversity initiatives.
All the board.
Yeah, so I'd say we've had success through the LTP, and you know it takes a village to advocate for
That goes back to the
biodiversity.
biodiversity fund, so that was in that LTP. And the Rochelle water treatment plant was upgraded, so that's wastewater as well, isn't it? Just looking at the summary of submissions and LTP plan and what the council is committed to.
This is all the things that I'm thinking
Mm.
Oh.
of. If you look at G 21.
Sorry, that straight away.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's right, it is, yeah. Looking at that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no progress. Except for chat.
Well, I mean, so many organisations are doing so much work around the harbour, and yeah, and we support them where we can.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm.
We can't plant every tree.
All right, where are we at next?
Okay, moving on to H32. None of the progress to date relates to the measures of success. So we needed a comment from staff who managed the project to confirm. I wasn't able to obtain that to date, but I could possibly do that. That one again is somebody else's project. It's a project of the council of staff and everything. So I think that's another one that's a little bit outside your sphere of influence. What do you think?
Yeah, it's too specific, but if you generalize that, then the vote has achieved because we have been engaging with number of areas, various projects.
Make a note of that if that's something we're doing, so for our annual plan, we can put that a measure of success and appropriate wording.
Yes.
I mean, isn't the implementation of the development plan fully funded through the long-term plan?
How, where would you tip, what measure of success up there would frame that, use that as a frame?
That funding was already there before the board came. And
Yeah, that's right.
did
And
this,
We'll
right?
we'll check.
So did you put that in there because it
And it
was,
hasn't-
didn't
it
have to
hasn't-
do anything for?
the budget hasn't been removed.
That's a measure of success, isn't it? Yeah, still there.
The budget hasn't been removed, yeah, okay.
Because the LGP is coming up and no money is coming up.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. So it's just like, it's just progressing and it hasn't been
so
we haven't had
On the
to,
wall.
Okay, so you want to put that one down as a T?
I reckon.
Yep. Agreed. Okay.
Which one do you say is achieved?
H32.
There have been no big shocks to the, and in fact, it's actually like been expedited on some level because some nasty billionaire from America decided he wanted to race his yacht race in the harbour and then slag everyone off after we welcomed him. but it did get expedited, so we're doing really well in that regard.
So the board supported quality and meaningful engagement with staff, Runanga stakeholders. Yeah, okay, H33. No progress recorded. Agreed?
What is this development plan?
That's right, by December, I think.
And yeah, they have been to the board quite a few times.
Yeah.
Detailed planning design.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back 18 months and you made this.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Oh, was it the very start? Okay, yeah, I'd say that is a.
We also made the decision about removing the trees.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
I kind of
right.
asked.
Good point, Julian.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And you
Yeah.
did briefing about the fallout
Yeah.
down there and what they're planning to do with the lease.
Okay.
I mean, you could, I mean, an effective and efficient use of the site, it doesn't get more effective than holding an international sailing regatta.
One.
Televised globally.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got those H32 and H33 as
In
achieved.
fact, the largest ticketed sailing event ever held in the world ever was on
Is
the
that
site.
right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Largest even in the world.
Yep, ever.
No wonder they had transport issues.
And that H34 is part of that same one really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Priority I35. Do you consider that one achieved?
Breath held.
Yeah.
This was one of my personal ones.
Consultation scheduled.
Yeah,
It's
it's underway.
It's in train.
yeah, in progress.
Yeah.
In progress. Okay, I-36, Donald Street Stables.
Same really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
Progress.
Progress.
It's been quite encouraging, the progress made on both, you know, particularly on that site actually.
Okay, I-37, Godly House, former Godly House site.
Well, you got bamboozled on that
Oh.
because
Not to the next.
the proposal didn't progress, so there has been no proposal.
So where does, yeah, so basically where are we at now? Like
Just stalled out.
it's just stalled, or is it still? Okay.
That was, there was a lot of advocacy around that in the last triennium. We had some very, obviously, keen people from the area, advocacy around that.
So by the end of last term, we'd already had that put forward, didn't we?
It was one of Scott's big hobby horses, wasn't it, to try and get that over the line, yeah.
So continuing to work with community and council to find a way to enable, well, you haven't done any more work because there was that proposal was in circulation, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was in circulation when the election happened, so there has been no more progress. You could, you know, you could look at that in step 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good idea.
To discussion. Priority I-38, which is the Hunters Road. I'll put, I believe that's achieved. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visual planning, community views and preferences.
We kicked the ball into play. We kicked the ball into play. We've done all we can do.
It's achieved and in progress.
Yeah.
Because the outline development plan is still getting worked on.
Yes.
And it'll be nice to know, yeah, like when that's going out for consultation.
We can't really, the wording is partial land sale. We don't have control over the actual land sale.
No.
We only have control over making a recommendation to
So was
the
it-
council.
kick the
And even
ball?
they don't,
Yeah.
another part of the council do have control over the land sale, but.
Well, you
That
recommended
has,
that.
yes, that has
I
happened.
know, but we're not
Venice
selling,
and-
we
yeah.
can't sell it.
Yes, you are saying.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't
Yeah.
consulted on it.
The community board can't sell.
You can't
Yeah.
what, sorry?
The community board doesn't have any jurisdiction apart from where we've been.
So it's about clarifying the word.
We've done all we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so part of that, what the board will do says request an assessment of the site for its potential to grow Indigenous trees for long-term carbon sequestration. Did that ever happen?
No.
No. It may be noted for the outline, but.
Okay.
Yeah, the board, they did mention about some planting.
That was the
that's
deputation from.
Children's
Oh,
garden or
it's
something.
in place with the solar panels, remember that day?
Wow.
Yes, I remember.
Sorry,
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
But it came to us on the 22nd of April when we heard everybody was submissions and everything.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
suggested
Yes,
one
so-
from Forest as
Yeah.
well. But it didn't go any further.
Okay.
I'm happy with achieving in progress and we can talk more.
Yep, okay, great. That's me done. I'm going to hand over the pen now to take you through step 2, which is brainstorming for each outstanding goal. Consider what steps we can take to ensure success.
Excellent. That really means you and
Thank
me. Yeah, are we going to go back through?
So we'll go back through.
Yeah.
Shall we go to A4 first? Start.
Thank you. Because I think you just need to be super realistic given the 1 year you have left. And in fact, it's kind of probably just less than that. But,
Yeah.
And now that you've had a couple of years with this under your belt, you're very conscious of what is realistic and what isn't. Right, so we'll zoom in on the red bits.
We're going to go through the no progress.
Yeah.
And then, well, which is not achieved. No, not achieved, no progress. Is that the same thing?
No.
Okay, we're gonna have to go through the red ones first, are we?
Oh, we'll just go through anything.
We'll go through.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So A4.
This one, we're reading.
Yep.
This is about SE pieces. I've just put onto the victim Canada memorandums, the memo that you received. On significant sites and on horizon. So, if there was no suggestion about how you will assess.
Can we zoom out a little bit so we know what that's in context with?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm on the map, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite the right one. So this is the letters of support. You haven't had any requests from anybody. You know, I know that you would respond if you did. I don't know that it's with, you know, your time to keep.
We
chasing
have
it.
advocated and I have at least encouraged a number of organizations and they have applied and they have got funding, so,
I've got funding, yeah.
but not letter from us. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe letting them
So are
know
we
it's
looking at this to
available.
see if this is,
Maybe,
still within our sphere of influence, if it's achievable? See if it's something.
as is, we can't do anything.
Some of these might not be relevant
Yeah.
anymore. They
Yeah.
might not.
So
No.
we just write
I don't think it's relevant.
irrelevant
to me.
or not
Couldn't
relevant.
we, I mean, couldn't we, if people don't know about it existing, we could increase awareness that it does exist, this funding through, when we're brainstorming, aren't we? Through some kind of media, small media campaign, advertising or some sort.
Yeah.
Could be.
It is on the website.
Or putting something in various local newspapers.
It's not just farmers,
Newsletters.
is it? There's landowners in Akarā,
am.
urban areas that have little bits of forest. I used to have one.
Okay, so we could, so what we'll do is we'll go through this list and you can make suggestions about what could be required. And if there's a bunch of stuff in there that requires governance team support, then at the end of that, we can then prioritise those things. Because there is a limited resource, I think is probably fair to say. For something like this, launch a campaign, I agree, it could be a small thing, Gillian. You know, you could certainly put stuff on your website, you could get a tile for that, a link to that, you could put it on your own Facebook pages, circulate it around, you know, I think Facebook's pretty good for those local, for those small local communities, if everyone has links to those pages. Even if you did that, you're advocating and promoting the idea. Right, have we noted that one?
Who's taking notes for this?
Yeah, I do circulate these funding opportunities to
Yep.
people in my
Yep.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great that you do that, and it's what you do as a whole board that gets recorded in here. So putting it on your board webpage and then
Yeah.
you will agree, yes, I will promise to do that. Yeah, cool. Okay, next one.
Next one would be A8.
Well, they can go on the LTP.
Yes, sir.
Just got a lot of something.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But this,
Yeah,
Banks
that's
Peninsula
okay.
ward, council-owned buildings, isn't it? I mean, this is, we're advocating for Banks Peninsula, so would we not maybe put that in the annual plan submission?
Do you want to begin with asking for some information?
Yeah,
from
yeah,
staff
we want to be
about,
well informed before we get
about
that
plans.
Yeah.
What's in the plan, what's in
We
the
can get a
field
report.
program.
That's one of the
A
stuff.
memo, something, maybe even a briefing if there's enough,
Yeah.
if there's enough stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll work with staff to get you some advice
Yeah.
in some format about current programs or plans, approaches
About that, yeah.
to solar panels.
But there's also the Lytton energy transition.
That's right.
Yeah,
Which
And
is,
getting solar panels on the rec centre in
That's
Lytton is their number one
yeah,
thing they're aiming for. So,
It's very early days. but-
yeah.
so
well, we'll get it,
supporting them.
we'll get an update on that, shall we?
I mean, what council building is not suitable for sticking solar panels on the top of, it's like, we've got a lot of roofs.
Yeah.
depends which way they're facing though.
Yeah.
But not all buildings are suitable.
That's correct.
House big.
Yep, all sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm sure not all buildings are suitable, but most would be.
Yeah, and that is included in the city council climate resilience strategy as well. Yeah, that is part of it. Yeah, yeah. 2019.
Cool.
E9,
So what have we got left to check here? It's the monitoring report, the implementation,
Well, this is where
Destination
where I would say that we
implementation.
lobby council
Yes,
to put some words into the
Oh, yeah.
letter of expectation.
yep, because it just seems to have gone, bump, had a bit of a wall. I guess everyone's saying now what's happening around that. That could be coming up in some like the
Yeah.
Pātaka project or whatever, but it's again, we need to have guidance about how we can, I guess, achieve it.
I mean, we need a yearly review process, just like we're doing now, of
Yeah.
any plan, just to say, okay, well,
How we go with this here.
but the plan, although the destination management plan is probably less prescriptive than this process. It's more of like an overarching vision of how we want the
It's a
peninsula to be, but we still need it reported back on.
We do.
Yes, yeah. So how, you're talking about, talking to council in regards to getting it right, is that like a letter from the chair? Or how do we, what does that process?
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I was thinking if we go through all of these, then one of your really effective strategies is when you present to council, following the month, the previous month, and this is your previous month for the next presentation.
Yeah.
So you could say we had a serious review of our plan, which you are doing.
Yeah.
We've highlighted some things that we want to talk to council about. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So,
advocate council through the board.
we'll just put advocate to council and we'll work that out, yeah? I mean, look, it could be that you do a chairperson's report to a meeting, that is an option.
Yeah.
No,
We'll see what works.
yeah.
Just in terms of ideas, the destination management plan, we talk about cruise ships and things like that, but that never really fell into a category of like the cruise ships didn't fall into the destination management plan, although every time it comes up, that's a topic of discussion.
It did.
Is it like, okay, anyhow,
it is.
okay.
Was there
So-
something specific about them that?
Yeah, I just said something about, and then we brought it up again this morning about all the different organizations or groups coming together for it. So something in terms of saying something like to nurture or foster collaboration with these groups to come up and find some middle ground or some balance that balances social licenses, the work that, it is working port and the getting community and business into. And then maybe balancing that with how can we get some funding to help with it? And something that Asif had mentioned about the tourist levy has gone up. How do we capture some of that to help us with the destination management? Or is it out of our scope because Christchurch NZ is kind of implementing that?
So that was
It's
under
very
which
broad.
one was it again?
B10.
Okay. I
Because it
like
talks
that
about
idea of
infrastructure.
investigating the levy. How do we
Mhm.
investigate it? That seems quite action.
A levy for what?
The tourism
Gee.
levy's gone up to $100.
International
effective
tourism levy
October, wasn't it? I
That's the
think?
general
from
levy for
30 to
all
100.
visitors
Yeah.
through New Zealand.
So it was
Is that-
30
how is
or
that-
35.
What's the criteria
Um,
for accessing?
Council, through council, you can apply because half is being spent on conservation and half on tourism infrastructure. So you can apply for any infrastructure.
Okay.
Council can do it,
Toilets.
and community groups can't. So through council, more toilets, yeah.
And we
Um,
would talk about infrastructure.
Okay.
here too.
Yeah,
So, this would be staff again investigating.
Yeah.
How we can access that.
Is this new regional one? No.
No,
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 this
no.
is the government
Overall.
tourism
No,
levies.
that is different, yeah.
Yeah.
The one we applied to for the toilets.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So it came from the same
What's
pool,
that from?
from
Where
that
did it
pool,
come from?
yeah,
Oh.
yes.
Oh, there's a bus parking out here.
And
Sorry.
Do check that.
Investigate, I guess criteria, where can we use that, especially under the.
Because we're trying to do a lot of stuff there.
It's going to the Giants house,
Hey, is it? Going up there?
it's going up there.
Well, none of that stuff's been done up here for that.
international tourism levy, sorry, international tourism levy,
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah, tourism levy, yeah.
The board through the council, yeah.
Sweet. And the council can identify a project related to tourism and apply for funding. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it goes, yep.
Right.
Was there something else we need to put there from that? Because you said lots of good things there.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, but yeah, collaborating and working together to find the middle ground.
Okay.
For social license, the working port, community and business.
Yeah, you did such good work on that after the, you know, when you had that hui that
Yeah.
you co-facilitated and what have you, that was really,
Town hall meeting.
yeah, I wouldn't want to do that again.
No,
Yeah.
But that's what was
You know.
required at the time,
Yeah.
which was really good. So you've really laid a good legal foundation, I think, and expectation for engagement with that local community on behalf of all those other parties. Because you're you're not right in there in that, you're sort of on the fringes.
should the reserve management, can these be tapping into some of that funding too, for the reserves?
Through the board.
Hmm?
Through the board.
Through the board?
Into the
I'm sorry,
tourism and
special-
infrastructure.
Reserve committees accessing, coming to the board to access the levy. Okay.
Yep.
Keep that in
Is
your
it-
back pocket, for when you get to anything to do with reserve, the reserve.
And facilities like which are being used by tourists. And there are a number of facilities,
Yeah.
council facilities,
Yeah.
so can attract funding there. For big projects like road, and that's where we can, or regional deals, that's where money will be, where Tyrone needs some extra pockets.
Levy road, does it work with that part of the?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's around tourism.
Yeah.
Because it's people coming into the country and pay that when they're visiting New Zealand.
I know what levy is, but I'm wondering if that's the action that should be in that slot.
In that
That's
slot.
my problem.
Well, I think so, because it's about
Destination.
supporting infrastructure requirements.
No, thank you for checking that.
Yeah, infrastructure requirements needs to support both tourism and local residents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
signage,
Yeah.
It's not easy for a big team.
Yeah, parking areas is a big one, yeah.
Okay, how are we going? Up to B10, we feel good there?
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, so the next one's C13.
Okay, so environmentally friendly toilets. What was the update on that, sir?
the park, 3 of the big units are coming to do a roadshow at the annual plan capital program within the month to the board. So this would be the time, because I've asked parks for the public toilet renewal program for BP. That would be the time for me to ask them, or I could ask a question before that about what you're doing to make an environmentally green, etc. So I can put that question in if the board wishes.
Yeah,
so that it starts.
yes.
Okay, I'm hearing yeses and
Shouldn't necessarily be
this was-
ratepayers.
This was, you really wanted beyond the square thinking out of this. You know, you wanted technology that was available, becoming on stream and being tested locally to see if, you know, something could be provided that didn't use water so much and what have you. So this is, you know, this is about climate change. This is all sorts of things, isn't it? Ticks the boxes.
Yeah.
But that's where I think we can start, is at that information session.
Well, specifically, what new technology has been investigated as appropriate or potentially appropriate? What new technology has been investigated as being potentially appropriate for Banks Peninsula, you know, remote public toilets?
So potentially.
Appropriate for remote peninsula toilets. How does that sound? See, another Tyrone's nodding.
That sums it up perfectly.
Always thinking about toilets on Banks Peninsula.
Yes,
So that's why I'm nodding.
So there's a change question mark for number.
So C14 was needed more discussion.
So was there some feedback from staff about that?
I have put the memo in the referendums. There's no assessment there, just telling you how they are and what happens on them. What can and can't happen on sites. Yes, so you haven't got an assessment.
So no assessment, even though there's
A memo to tell you the criteria.
So we've had a report, at least that's the memo, isn't it, the report?
No,
Well,
because if you're asked, I will put request a report, because what decision are you making? If it's a report,
okay, so we would
ask for staff advice.
ask, yeah, okay, ask for staff advice in regards to undertake progress on the undertaking the assessment of the SES, what is it, SES?
I don't think they. Yeah,
Right, oh, ecological significance.
What is the assessment you're wanting though? That's the question I've got. What are you wanting?
Didn't I
What
hear,
is the assessment?
what do we want from this, basically? Yeah, well, feedback, brainstorm, what do we hear from the table? What do we want from this thing?
What's this? Sorry.
This is for the sites of
Oh,
ecological
sites.
significance. So I
This
guess
was part of the district plan
It is part of the.
to complete assessment. So what you're asking for is an update on how
The progress is
that
made.
has been, you know, what's been
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah,
so because it's part of the district plan, we need to be looked at, then we need to see progress on that. Is that part of it? Is that our role? Is to see progress on that?
Well, what you wanted to see progress being made on those, because they were just, I can remember Pam Richardson as your board chair, which is how many
Yes.
terms ago now, asking and asking and asking
Five,
about this. So
6
that's
years
how
ago.
that's how it got
Yeah,
onto the plan in the first
Right.
place, I think. So it's, you know, this is a long termer, this one.
The thing is, do you understand what SES are?
What's the memo?
It was very good,
Explain what
wasn't it?
they are and
It's quite a big memo.
Yeah, I remember, and it's very fascinating. and
Because it's
interesting.
got forestry in the middle of it.
I can't find the memo.
Yeah.
People got it on your devices.
Look, you know, dare I say, if
I
none
can't
of you
find
are
it.
across this and it's not ticking your boxes, like if none of you, it's not lighting your fire, then I would suggest for you at the moment, this isn't a.
Okay,
Carry on.
Monitoring, monitoring, like there are some SES sites which have to be certain standard.
Yep.
They're not being
Monitored.
monitored or implemented. The part of the implementation is the fencing of the stream, which is part of, our priority. And so, but it's not happening. So identifying a site as an SCS means nothing until it is implemented or imposed. So there are various sites on the peninsula that, this could happen. And it ticks most of the boxes of the board priorities.
The thing that baffles me is that in the 90s, there was a massive report prepared on sites of ecological significance. So it's not like it's a new thing.
Yes.
So, but they were identified then, at least.
It's not being monitored or
It must be
implemented.
reassessment, surely, and yes, continuing monitoring of them because they might change.
Okay, so I want to ask staff to inquire about progress made on the reassessment.
That's right, I think.
Yep.
It's not new. Yeah.
Well, we don't know that, so that's why
And
staff
what,
briefing.
where that
Yes.
affects and Banks Peninsula, what
Yes,
sites
exactly.
that affects, what sites it's not including,
And how they're
how we
monitoring
need
and
to
how they're
get
imposing it.
sites included in the assessment.
If you look at the first paragraph of the memo and partway down, it says the new government policies October 2023
Okay.
has signalled that an urgent review into the implementation of the
Yeah.
national policy statement would be conducted. Staff may not be able to assist right now to get that review from government. It all comes under the national policy statement of Indigenous.
Okay, but if we still have that that will help us to follow it up. If we don't have any kind of action there, it might go by the by. But what I'm hearing is that it is important to people.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Do we have enough under that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Talk to staff.
All right.
Okay, we'll leave C15 as progressing. C16 is achieved. You've agreed that's achieved. D17 partially achieved. We're looking at marine structures there. That do you understand the current levels of service for marine structures? D17.
Okay, we're up to D17. We understand currently this may have done that. No question mark.
I'd say we don't.
Okay, that's right, marine structures. I have that on my piece of paper. Marine structures, wording for ongoing. Okay.
Okay, so what does that actually mean? That you understand the levels of service for marine structures. What does that specifically mean?
When I remember talking about this in regards to resilience, it was around another form of transportation in case of an emergency. So I guess understanding the levels of service is that they're actually usable.
Whether they meet the need, right? Yeah.
Fit for purpose.
Yeah, that one.
So that has been and is being done for the in terms of whakarako and kakaraucha, but not the rest yet.
That's under check, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is rural roads in this instance, does that mean, because that's every road in the peninsula pretty much,
Not a road.
or, but is it, did we mean sealed or unsealed there, or
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter?
Yeah, I think that when we get down to the nitty gritty of it, it's
Yeah.
very big.
Especially some bays which have got one access. That road, whether it is sealed or unsealed, will act as lifeline for that community.
So if we wanted to understand where marine structures, the levels of service we're at, what do we need to do that? And also our rural roads. So I guess what we're trying to achieve is figure out what we need to plan for. Do we need funding for these particular areas?
And so if you did need funding, it's not going to turn up in the annual plan, right?
Mm.
It'll be the next long-term plan that you're heading towards for that. Yes?
So we're saying we just have to hold our breath and move on.
No, what you're saying, I think what you're saying to staff is that a foundation piece of information that the board, this board or the next board will need for long-term plan submission work is to understand the level of service for rural roads and marine structures, particularly in terms of climate change and resilience. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's ready for
Yeah.
the board when they're prioritising things.
So it's a bit like our audit.
And-
That's exactly.
Community.
Critical,
facilities.
critical
Yes.
infrastructure.
And when they got funding to expand, the adaptation plan, this, other parts of the Peninsula as well. Yeah, it will fill in both.
Yeah.
Take both.
So if we're talking about an audit type document.
Yeah.
Which is basically seeing what something is all around the peninsula.
Yeah.
How achievable is that?
Well, we would have to ask regional parks, because they do marine structures, we'd have to ask them. They may already have such things, because they do asset management planning, right? So it
Might
could be a case of,
correlating some data, or it might be, so we'll investigate.
we'll ask for some,
Sounds good.
I
Any
think-
ideas, what
I
else?
think Asif's point about advocating for funding for the chat team, because that's not guaranteed.
Yes, that is not guaranteed. Yeah, you're
And
right. Yeah.
they would do that as part of.
Because we have asked why you are not expanding that plan here. They said that we got limited resources. Two staff,
Yeah, that's right.
it has taken them 3 years to write one plan for Whakaropo, that's it. So as if the rest of the Peninsula doesn't exist, not being impacted, are being impacted. So we need those resources throughout Bench Peninsula so that we have a bigger picture where we are and how
Well,
are we
particularly around
connected.
Rākaihautū.
Yeah.
Which Nigel you
Sorry.
advocating?
I'm sorry. Ken.
It's me.
It's a Nigel now that have been advocating.
Right.
I thought they wanted, didn't they get some extra funding for chat in the LTP, but they want to finish the process they're doing
Yes,
and then,
because it's
and then take
effectively
the
the.
next step,
Yeah.
I think, was what they wanted.
Although I
to
don't
do.
think Rākaihautū was the next step.
No,
No,
I don't believe it is the
no,
next
they-
step, and they
they
needed,
haven't answered
they
that.
needed much more resource to
Yeah,
be
that's-
able to do
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
at the same time, like concurrently as, more than one at a
Yeah.
time.
But they've effectively
Because it's
done a
such
proof
a
of
big
concept
thing.
now with the work that they've done. It's been well received. But what was I going to say? On some level, like we just can't know if the levels of service are correct until something gets wiped out. We go, oh, the road in Goffs Bay's been wiped out again. What do we? Is it? Have we got the response in place that's going to be able to mitigate that quickly?
Yeah.
Well, I think the answer to that is yes, we do. I think the answer would be yes if that happened
I
again.
would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and often these things are not like overnight fixes, but I think that the systems and processes that we've got in place to deal with it now are much better than they were 3 years ago.
So also that ties into potentially identifying the marine structures that you would know wouldn't work, I guess. It's not taking any of that,
One-
there is a natural hazard. Yes, some roads, we don't know where the roads might have a problem or what, but we can definitely tell them we wouldn't, because they're probably not working now.
Mm.
What
That's
structures
where-
aren't working now,
yeah.
what rural roads aren't working now.
That's where they were looking into that, roads are not the only solution. So that's where the marine structures become very critical, because if the roads is
You're
gone
right.
for a couple of months, then if you have alternative marine structure in place, then that area can be serviced for the time being.
As was the case over 100 years ago here.
Well,
This was all serviced by boats.
oh yeah, exactly.
But
If I can need two things, here. Some people advocating for newer structures for community resilience. but when I look in the, levy,
Right.
the only thing I can find under the marine is manage and enable access to a network of public marine structures that facilitate recreational and commercial access to the marine environment for citizens and visitors. And the measure is customer satisfaction with the availability of public marine structures, nothing about marine structures, community resilience.
I mean, the Diamond Harbour wharf getting wiped out in a storm is a very different problem to the Robinsons Bay jetty getting wiped out in a storm. Like they're not the same. They're both marine structures, but one's arguably a lot more important to our community resilience. So, you know, it's just about getting that right sizing it for.
Yeah, and taking those things in the right sizing into account, and I see we're potentially even talking about the resilience side of it here. What do we need to do as an action to support the use of marine structures in case of a natural hazard?
I remember we discussed this, the notion of community resilience was there. Maybe we didn't include that. But yeah, that would be a good start to manage the existing structures, improve their services while keeping an eye on the future, marine structures that could be critical for some areas.
So do you think at this point it's sufficient to ask staff to investigate if there is some kind of maintenance program or understanding of the levels of service?
Yes. Yeah, that is, that would be a good start.
Investigate
Yeah.
marine structures, because I think we're over the roads okay, aren't we?
Yeah, like what are we geared to support? Yeah.
So what's that, sorry?
I was kind of like, what are we, what's the word I'm looking for? I keep thinking geared, but that'll do. Yeah, what are we able to support in the event of something being compromised?
We could have hydrogen aeroplanes landing on Akara Harbour within 10 years.
Yeah.
We'd have
You know,
what
we got-
landing?
Huh?
Did you say planes?
Hydrogen powered planes or electric planes landing in Akara Harbour within 5 to 10 years.
That'll be
It's about understanding the vision.
Keep flying over.
Will they be electric?
Or to update the board, it's not.
I'll let you know after the
Staff
tour.
already know it. So it's to update the board on marine structures, current maintenance levels of service and renewal program.
Sorry, we started the investigation.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just thinking it from a government, I mean, our role as a governance entity is to make sure that the things under our jurisdiction are meeting the community need at any given
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
right? So are we putting the right processes in place to enable that? And I think that,
So here's, moving on from this, so if we hear back an update about it, it will identify how much information we have. If there's no latest update, then we might have to investigate getting one, because we also might need to investigate. No, my brain started moving.
Are you all right?
No, I totally lost what it was on the top of my brain. That's okay, end of day items.
It's all right, we're going to have to go back and prioritise these because we're not going to, we can't just create a huge list of
No,
actions
we
for
can't.
staff.
Okay,
Where your governance manager will get sacked.
okay. There's a lot more work that can be done around that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, D19, you've agreed that's not achievable, so we'll move on to discussing E22.
Okay, what can we do?
Is Levon's and Devotionals, they've still got schools, we've never heard any issues about kids having to walk to school there?
The Bonds doesn't have a school.
No, I mean, the Canes and Devotionals, I mean.
No.
Okay. Because we actually specified certain schools. I just wondered whether or not the other schools.
Because there were
had-
identified issues.
There were identified issues, yeah.
Physical connections.
I guess was it last meeting or last meeting where we just talked about possibly giving council some progress on that, or highlighting to council staff, I think it was, some of the issues to do with the traffic along Britain Terrace, Park Terrace, that area that would relate to that one about connections between Littleton and primary school. Some of the there's those key intersections which are probably are problem areas. So we've done a tiny bit on that, but to progress that a bit more.
So we haven't heard back, is it? We've just asked for an update.
Not sure.
It was more social media stuff that caught our attention.
We were going to
No, we had some idea of perhaps.
What's it gonna do?
follow up to do
Yes.
with traffic management
That's
and
been done.
problem areas along Park Terrace and Britain Terrace.
Was I?
We had ideas too.
Because you
Maybe
made a list, didn't you, of the different?
Yes, oh, yes, that's right.
Edwin Tiong came to the board on the 24th of June and gave us a briefing on, or gave us another session on the parts that I listed up here. Covered a safety project in Corsair Bay, Cass Bay footpaths, Cass Bay pedestrian
That's done.
access.
Yes.
Governors Bay, Dyers Pass
To do-
Road,
Watching
Super
that.
Terrace and Governors Bay Road, Charteris Bay options for a footpath on Marine Drive and Akaroa Beach Road as well. But I went back to Edwin to request what's happened with any of those.
Right,
It's
yep.
been on leave.
Yeah,
So, and just touching on what Gillian said, so, yeah, my view was that like at any given time, there are a bunch of things. If you consider the road from Littleton to Diamond Harbour or to Port Levy as one road, there are a bunch of things along that route that we're keen to get done and have worked on and all that sort of stuff, including but not limited to improving pedestrian access and that sort of, or safety or whatever it is. And so we just need to constantly just be engaged with our traffic manager, traffic engineer on, what he's working on, what's the report, we just want to have that visibility so that we can just say, yeah, this is important, this isn't important.
that's when can we add Sumner Road to it from Littleton too, because that's about visitors and head to head, and it needs to be in it to make progress, I think, and along with that, Britain Terrace.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to have zebra crossings, or if I lived on Cressy Terrace, I want to know that I can walk safely to Littleton Main School, and all the way. Is that possible? Is that achievable at the moment? Maybe. Is it? But if we get it reported back to us, maybe that's not our priority at the moment. Maybe it's more important to us that we get Rapaki nailed or get what's being worked on at the moment, because we sort of don't. It's kind of all over the place.
But it's important that we have it written so that we can follow
Yeah.
because if it's not written, then
Which
it
is why I
just
made that
becomes.
kind of thing. Yeah, just so
Yeah.
we can say, well, these are all the issues. Just report back on.
Yeah.
Just give us a.
So during, by the time, next year comes around, June was a while ago, so do we just ask for another update? Progress?
This is specifically about what is schools.
Actually, everyone's been on leave, so.
Right.
Linda has asked for an update.
And also the beach road, walking, a pedestrian walk from
Yes.
Akaroa to Bertomart and Takapuniki,
Yeah.
on the beach road.
There's a school.
They
kids
give the
walking
same
there.
presentation,
Yeah.
so maybe you can update it on where they are.
It was cutting the grass, wasn't it?
Okay, so just to, I guess, to keep that moving, is
Keep it
just
listed.
reducing, update again, or
Yes.
keep on that.
And it's,
Does that tick the boxes for today?
yeah, I think Tyrone had upon it really with this, it's a constant roading management issue.
Yeah.
It has to have some, like there's issues in Akaroa, there's a very few walkways, like
Yeah.
footpaths. You're walking up and down the streets like Rubenoir and Smith Street, you're sharing the road with
Road,
cars.
yeah.
There's nowhere for kids to walk. And kids walk down there. Kids walk down Armstrong Terrace, down the bush. And they used to walk to get down, through Stanley Park, path that got cut off by the Goffs development. There's always this constant thing that's happening, and we shouldn't have to rely on someone to come along and do a solution.
Right. It's about how do we speak into any program of works or priorities within that area of the council.
Yeah. Well, we used to get a lot of, we used to get Andrew, what's his name?
Kingsley.
Yeah, he used to come along and talk all the time about little changes and things. We get nothing now.
Yeah.
Borders had nothing.
Andrew was in front of this community board all the
You've
time.
had a couple of briefings.
Oh, okay.
You've had a wee bit more than nothing, but not as much as Andrew. Okay, so what do you want to do?
Just request an update, and then maybe when we do get an update, just maybe work out if we can get a regular update.
So do we assume that they know what our issues are in all our different areas? Because I feel like we kind of bring it up, we bring it out, but is it?
They are aware because they work with the customer service and then they
Right.
include those in their presentations.
But yes,
Because if you
obviously
don't
those
list
points
it,
are very interesting, and if no one does a CSR
it's
about
not
it.
written in
That's
there
right.
and how do
Because
they?
it's always been there.
Yeah.
And it's the acceptance, it's like having to drive over a single road to get home. It's a certain acceptance level because that's where it's always been.
That's good. Well, we've noted
So
all
we
that,
might
so
have
probably should move on to the next one. But that's, it's been a lot of time on roads.
Yeah.
Right, E23, you wanted a bit more discussion around that one?
Social and physical.
Yeah.
That's the Rākaihautū bit, within the Rākaihautū.
It's about, I mean, you've achieved it according to E23, what the board will do, but then there's the measures of success where you've specified Rākaihautū.
Well, I understand that there's a bit of work in progress in there to create that safe crossing. Because when I'm reading that, I'm thinking a safe crossing in Rākaihautū from the village to the bus stop.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not thinking putting the heated walkway through Rākaihautū, which is different. But I understand that road crossing is in train. But again, that's a roading engineer question, traffic engineer question, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So that would also mean just things like what a resident suggested was as you're coming into Rapaki, just putting a slow down sign on the road, like as you do coming to Casbay. There's no such thing, is it? I mean, I think we talked about stops and solving, but there's other things you can do to remind traffic to slow down as they're approaching into the village.
I mean, the speed through the signed speed through Rapaki is only, isn't it like 3 kilometres an hour? Is it 30? Is it?
Yeah, no, it isn't.
3.
Just keeps on getting lower and lower.
Not here.
I think it is 30. Yeah.
Who signed off the change of 30 k's around here?
Yes,
To where?
Yeah, it's not.
yes, there is 30.
Should have taken
What,
back to-
along Rula Vote?
Okay, so what?
We probably did.
Anyhow, we
There,
need to do
as
something.
an action.
That's
that
all right,
will
isn't it?
help us to
That's
achieve
decent.
that. All right, or anybody at the table, what's the action that we can put there?
For which
Working with-
More achieve it, and just partly.
for 23?
Yes. Just to sum up what you said.
Yes, on the road, Tara, we need that in there somewhere.
What about Sumner Road?
Safer crossing to head.
Oh.
Head to head. And it's
But in
coming in too good.
E22,
I
we
see.
wanted to
Yeah,
request an
we have
update
to
about
put
what's
this-
being worked on currently. And so that safe crossing in the village from Rākaihautū to bus stop, that Tara just mentioned,
Yeah.
might come up within that update. Yeah, and
Right.
if it doesn't, then we can look at,
Okay.
Yeah, we need,
is this something that we
That's
can
good.
approach, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
E24.
there are lots of things on the go. We just need to know where they're at.
E24 partly achieved, so you'd mentioned the Creek Town shared walkway cycleway that's done and the Uranau bike tracks, mountain bike tracks. Sorted.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's one that we didn't update yet. So that's E24.
Yeah.
That's E24, yeah.
Sorry, you're doing so good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just keeping up.
It's just keeping up. Can you just slowly read those out again? Linda? Just-
Well, Linda's got them. We can.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking notes as well, so we can cross-reference later.
All right, okay, so we're good with 24.
Well, support improvement.
Something else we could do for
E24.
E24
Yeah,
is, perhaps not cycling X, but there's facilities mentioned there. And bike parking is something we don't have much of, for example, in
Sure.
Littleton,
Tunnel, yeah.
yeah. Which could be investigated more given how many bikes come through there.
Yeah.
And stop.
So what was it about facilities?
Providing more bike parking.
That says the
It's like a
facility,
bike
okay.
park facility.
Yeah, well, so you can access facilities, yeah?
Yeah.
This comes
Go
under
to
access,
somewhere.
doesn't it? Yeah?
Can we mention that in the same request to the traffic engineer for update stuff? Can we recommend, can we request information about cycle parks for cycles?
Yeah,
And
good
what-
idea. Yeah.
Try.
And Littleton specifically.
Oh, there could be Akara.
Could be, I'm not sure what's here, yeah.
Nothing, I don't think.
Littleton, Akara.
Some of this was the gondola.
Locking them up.
Well, Little River, well, that's probably provided for.
yes.
Yeah.
Come through the town on the bus, don't you?
Yeah.
Right, we've got that.
Sorry.
E25 is dead in the water control stop.
E24.
Toilet facilities.
E24 was still.
Yeah, so just really quickly, I just wanted to make a mention.
Or just the townships,
Oh, okay.
where people want to go, could be cafes and things like that.
So just E24
Library.
cycle access, I think Cass tracks between Corsia and Cass, or I put something in their reserves.
The reserve committee.
Yeah, didn't they talk about something like that? So having,
Staff and research.
I don't know, I may have to see some old
That
minutes.
is not enough information for you to start requesting stuff like that.
No.
Can
Yeah,
they
no,
just
it's
keep doing
just
that?
Yeah, I think they've minuted it before or
Okay.
something, yeah.
Okay.
They just carry on, but just to mention that that, yeah. Care circles, yeah, and probably just
Is the head-to-head
magazine.
walkway only a walkway? It's not a mountain bikeway as well?
Cass,
Or is that an issue?
Oh, that would be a
I
candle.
shouldn't have asked that.
and then
Yeah.
instead
It's
find
a walkway.
a kid's loop.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we have everything we need for E24. All right, let's move on to E25. Oh, no, we decided
That's
that was.
dead.
Running out of batteries.
Okay,
Different problem.
E26, where we're up to?
Yeah,
Right, here we go.
26.
Oh, this is their parks.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I
Naval Club,
I was aware that you had Michael Beard come talk to you about smart Christchurch.
Yep.
yes,
And he, I'm sure, said something about poles being suitable and also Constable.
Anna?
Ron Street,
Oh.
Ash Street, said that the poles were in Houston police.
They said they were anything.
They were to go up,
Okay, all
but
right.
they were working with the local community. I don't know.
yeah, I think that kind of full stop.
So have we achieved
Took a
as much
pause
as we
there.
can achieve? Is that what we're saying?
Well, you've received dictations, you've achieved that, and that's that.
Okay,
The next, it's the next.
investigate.
But what about the pole in Naval Club? Naval Point, there was a pole there, I remember that, yeah. And that had Wi-Fi and stuff, yeah. Yeah,
So are we okay to leave that there, maybe just keep the edge of the ground just in case anything changes with the noise camera trial possibility? No, people want to be.
I think there's still a need, you know.
This community lead.
Yeah.
I know from an Akara perspective, you know, we get a lot of burglaries in here, over here in the winter, you know, but people can only, everyone that goes in and out of town, has to go through one point, one critical point, and a camera there, I'm aware would be a very interesting thing to have.
It's
Yeah.
not this though.
It's
This
not.
is
I
the-
know, but it's another extension, it's
Yeah,
part of the
and-
same discussion.
Yeah, and last time we asked the police about that, they said Akaro has a very low crime rate.
That's right, they did too.
We had a big discussion about it. Yeah, we tried to
We
get cameras at the
Big
start.
theft recently,
Hey,
we had a big theft,
Sorry?
generator from the west. Yeah.
So there's a permanent police presence here, not like Littleton.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe this is something we could note for the Eden plan in regards.
You're only a couple of
to-
miles from the head office.
Is there a cop in Little River?
Yes.
no,
No.
no, we share.
She
Akaro.
shares Akara, one
We
from
share
Akara.
Jason and Anita.
And Littleton is only a couple of miles away from Central.
Yeah.
But we have the tunnel.
All right.
We've
so-
got a fire brigade in Littleton
Oh,
because.
we're losing focus here. We're losing focus.
With the noise camera trial, we can only do what we can do, and I know
Yeah.
what you're saying as far as the wider safety.
Yes, but it's one for the next board.
26, have we partly achieved the community, and then we can move on. But make a note for any other planning in the future in regards to safety.
That's the next board, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll come back next time.
Okay, I think we're on to E 26. 15. Where are we? Staff actively work on this issue. So, police work together.
It's the same.
Same.
It's the antisocial road users.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's obviously still our goals and measures.
It is affecting our community.
Yes.
In the harbour.
It does.
And it's difficult because it's geographic.
Yeah,
Just the
isolation,
harbour,
isolation,
Phoebe's
yeah.
Pass,
Yes.
Yeah.
residents as well.
Okay.
Can I just add to that one there? It's community patrol as well. I went to a recent thing about community patrol. Play quite a big role between community and police. And they talk-
So you've
yeah,
supported
so I
them.
think, have they been mentioned as such?
Yep,
or-
yep, that you
Police
funded,
and
the
women's
Sumner, City to Sumner one, you funded them.
Oh, yeah,
Under 828.
yeah, but maybe, yeah.
Wait there. Yep.
Because they're
Okay.
such an important.
Yeah, but it's still a massive
Yeah.
problem.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
And the police have failed to make any difference at all. But that's not what the action is anyway. It's anyway, it's a different matter.
G29.
G29 is achieved, G30 said you'd come back to G30.
Yes, we did. We said G30 for the flood of rural origin, didn't we? Okay, so.
Well, council did advise us that if you look up on the one before, even though E29, they advised us that council is preparing, over the next 10 years, council is preparing a store management plan for our settlements. So, what do settlements be? Part of that.
Stormwater management isn't flooding of rural origins. I think staff made that really clear when they did that brief
Yes,
review.
yes.
That's why you have the flooding, the Little River Flood Mitigation Working Group,
yeah.
and you have another, out of that, staff, or if they agreed that they needed a working group that could then mobilise for Le Bons, Little Akaloa and other settlements. But staffing all of those all at once is too much. I still think it's something, I think, what I'm wondering if all you can do is put in there, continue advocating through your, long-term
Yep.
plan and your plan submissions.
Yeah. And,
You're gonna have to hammer it because it just,
yeah,
you know,
you
Yeah.
continue advocating.
Still a big priority, continue.
Okay.
I'm sure it's on every community board's list right around the country.
I'm sure.
The rural ones. Yeah.
Where G31, 31 now, yeah.
And this focuses on whakaora, healthy harbour.
Oh, no, actually, yeah, so, sorry, Linda, carry on.
No, you go.
Which one are we actually starting?
Well, can you just
31.
scroll that down again? So all of G, is it? Is
G.
in the, it's in the screen. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's good. So the things on the left don't the column, what the board will do, don't directly correlate with the measures of success. So, you know, all right, they're two separate lists. They don't line up.
No, they don't.
Yeah, so high levels of investment in stormwater management is not about whakaora healthy harbour. It's one of the measures for one or more of those objectives or goals that you have. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Right,
So
they
in
don't.
fact, with the point
Oh,
councils
yeah,
are
that
aware of
was-
rural flooding issues in Peninsula.
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
no funding, that's still,
That's general,
yeah.
and that's to do with the flooding of rural origin. Clearly, that's connected
Well
with that,
done, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And those other, the first three are connected with G29, the stormwater management. 1, 2, and 3 are all G29. So we've kind of covered those. It's just that there's no specific progress on those actual measures. I'm sure we are.
Yes, but I think Whakaora are doing some work around stormwater, but mostly
I
the
think that's-
relationship with over the hill.
Yeah, there's definitely probably the bottom bullet point, I guess, trial sites. Is that the trial sites? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
they were
so.
doing
Yeah.
those.
I think they linked to something like that.
So why is that a board measure when it's done by Healthy Harbour?
That's in,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe it was the
That's more
understanding of
because
what
you-
Healthy Harbour was doing.
Because you were supporting
We
it,
just support them,
so
yeah.
you were advocating for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, hey, you
So-
guys are doing a good job.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
And we will take that.
We send someone to the CAG,
yeah.
even though it doesn't
he's doing a
go.
good job.
So that says just continue.
Okay, so-
Advocating for that, so
Yeah.
we're happy for that to be
So-
in action.
Yep, so instead of no progress recorded on that last one, you could put board members continue to attend meetings.
Yeah.
Support the work.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
it says support,
and advocate for.
and we do.
it's just that.
We don't have to
no,
send
no,
someone to the CAG.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we just didn't
The
have that,
community
we didn't have that in
advisory
there,
group.
that you were doing.
Mm.
Choose to meet
Yeah.
by
Thank
probably
you,
about once every
Linda.
6 weeks at the boardroom. It'll be like representatives from all around the harbour.
Yeah,
Is that like the Lincoln Harbour network?
no,
No, different,
that's,
yeah.
this is Whakaora.
Okay, and the one above it, funding provided to support biodiversity,
Last time we
biosecurity
did it,
restoration.
right?
There was many
Have we,
groups.
has the board funded any, has the board done any plantings and funded groups to do stuff like that?
I definitely have.
Oh, we go and help.
Yes, the
fun.
cancers, including the biodiversity, the cat nurturing.
Restoration work. You advocated for the biodiversity fund to be kept.
Absolutely we did.
Yeah,
And
but
And
put it in
increase.
there, because it relates to that measure.
Increase or just kept?
did we have any input into the way the better off funding was allocated? Did we do anything there?
At the council level or?
What?
Board.
Board into council saying, oh yeah, this is
No, we didn't.
Oh, there was the flooding of rural origin one. So actually, sorry, I'm just jumping, because you put better off money into the modelling for that,
yes.
to address that.
Yeah.
So let's,
Oh yeah, good point.
oh, everywhere, we're all over. We're brainstorming. And submitted to increase the biodiversity fund. Thank you, Linda. And if you move up.
So where were we at?
And then you had under councillors are aware of rural flooding issues on Banks Peninsula and funding is allocated to help address that issue. You also had listed there the Port Levy whakararata as part of the coastal hazards. Flooding and Port Levy as part of the coastal hazards chat thing, the chat program.
So we're just updating the no progress on that one. Okay. So the customer has.
And
So what number do you want to set?
biodiversity fund, word fund after where you've got cursor.
What number are we up to? Sorry.
Fund after. I keep thinking Linda's typing it because I'm looking at here. And it looks-
Yes, me.
Right. Can you go back up to the flooding of rural origin one? It's just a wee bit higher. Yeah, and can you put in there that board allocated $20,000 for flood modelling and mapping for Wairua. Cool. That's big. How did we miss that?
Yeah, I know.
We just did.
There's a lot of good stuff.
It's because it's near the bottom. We always start at the top.
Get down to bottom of J's.
Bottom of the G's. We're in the bottom of the G's. And we move us over to Ellen, thank you very much. So we're up to, is it H34?
Oh, this is all native point.
Now, point.
On what? Naval Point, oh, of course,
Yeah.
right.
So we're up to, and this is like the other one, the stormwater one. Those things on the left all relate to Naval Point, and the meters in the middle all relate to the same. They don't necessarily align with that.
Yeah.
So don't mind them.
So that means that the no progress would should be taken off those ones really, eh? Or because what points for what number? You know, the bullet points, they for each of those numbers.
For some of them, they will come out of, but I don't know which ones align. Like the first one will align with the first one.
Right.
The second one will align with the first one. Stakeholders feeling fully enabled with supporting detail is about quality and meaningful engagement of H32.
Yeah.
All right, opportunities to support recreational event use of the site.
I mean, my view is that
Yes.
it's just all progressing,
On track.
it's all progressing well. It's progressing so well, in fact, that we haven't needed to do anything.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Progressing more than it has in the last 30 years.
Yeah, oh, yeah, exactly, like.
Much more.
Yeah,
When we did this 18 months ago, it wasn't.
No, yeah, I mean, capital funds,
Yeah.
some have-
And the last two bullet points are the same, they say the same thing.
So all of those no progress reported can be progressing.
yeah, I mean, sale GP basically like catalysed a lot of stuff. I mean, you've got the Coast Guard building being built around there now. It's all, you know, compared to what it was, you say, Jolene, yeah, like, I mean, it used to be a wasteland. Now it's amazing.
You better claim the lot there, Clara.
The turf on the wreck is, unfortunately, doesn't provide an advantage to the home team anymore. The all-weather surfaces at the wreck are currently being built. The Flo McGregor courts are, you know, so it's great.
The wall out, there's not a lot of progress. on the wall out.
That's, I am reliably informed that Ngāti Whiki are having good conversations with LPC about that.
Okay, so we could make a general comment that progress on the overall implementation of Naval Point is steady as she goes. Well, how about that?
Probably the only thing that's slightly worrying is just how the breakwater goes, because that's the thing that attracts a little bit of controversy.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything on that for a while.
It is, and do you, how much do you trust that the quality, meaningful engagement with stakeholders will continue like it has done
I
for
think
all the
it's-
rest of them, including the Ringanga? It's kind of like that's on, and you know, Liz is right, it wasn't on track a few years ago.
Okay.
In fact, several more years than that, but it was really stalled out.
I
So
have
Yeah,
I have massive confidence in the project management that's being done.
yeah, they're pretty good, aren't
Can
they?
we make a note of that by saying an ongoing advocacy for engagement with, stakeholders?
Yes, users support.
Stakeholders.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Is that
National
okay?
involved.
Yep, for quality engagement,
Okay, yep.
Yep.
Real success.
Quality,
engagement,
quality.
engagement with all parties. Just put with all parties.
Stakeholders?
I'm trying to agree with Tyrone, LGP to accelerate.
Yeah.
Well, it was a bit of a rocket, wasn't it?
Thanks, Sir Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Right, so where are we up to now?
We're on the last, we're just about on the last.
I thought we were there.
Those aliens swimming around in the harbour. They've on so long and thanks for all the fish.
All right, media team, stay focused, we're on the last home stretch.
We're on the
Okay,
last
right.
one.
5:37.
Okay,
36, 37,
Lovely
37.
house.
Totally.
5:37.
oh, Godly House.
35 and 36 are in progress.
I mean, I think that my view on I-37 is that, like, in principle, I mean, we went through,
Done everything we could.
we did everything we could over many years
Yeah,
to, and we got there. Like,
we did get some sort of.
an entity, whatever that looked like, got to the point where they could build a thing on a council reserve, which is no mean feat. And, well, it's just kind of, I mean, the need for a local pub there is kind of diminished somewhat because they've got one now. So I'm just not quite, I mean, that site gets massively activated in the summer,
Right.
hugely. Because through the live at the point stuff, it's like,
Maybe
it's
it's not an
heaving.
issue.
So it's not relevant anymore.
We don't hear people, I mean, I think people still want to see.
The
It's
door's
just,
open
it's
to
just hard
someone
to know
who appears.
what people really want now.
We're
Yeah,
not
that
hearing anything
side.
from the community to push this, so we
Yeah.
can't progress it. So it's not relevant at this point.
It used to be a massive hot button, but it's kind of, yeah, it's
They
just sort
still
of
have,
diminished.
there is the getting to the point plan, you know,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
their,
Oh, yeah, and actually,
it's
sorry to
their
interrupt,
community-led plan.
that almost got taken off budget. We got it back on budget,
Yes.
like the
Yes.
funding for the redevelopment of the central
Yes,
Diamond Harbour. So you could say, like, well, we've actually like managed to keep that stuff on budget for you know.
so you could say that the board advocated for successfully, the board successfully advocated for funding for getting to the point. And funding for getting to the point with capital GTTP. Getting to the point, yep,
It was-
plan to remain on budget.
Yep. So that was good. The thing that, sorry, just one other thing so yes, we got to the point where, see what I did there? Where someone could do a thing on the Godly House side, but we can't, like, where is that now? Because I mean, that was like a year and a half ago, where we said, yep, go ahead, and the CEO of the council at the time approved it.
Yep.
With delegated authority from the Minister of Conservation.
Yeah.
So is that still live? If someone came up with an idea and
Yes, it's still
fully
live.
funded,
It's still possible.
is
Yeah.
the board resolution was that council dealt unilaterally with one party? Is that still the case?
It is until the resolution is presented.
Until the resolution.
Right. So we probably need
Would you like an update?
we need a bit of an update because this is going to go anywhere.
I've asked for an update this week now.
Thanks for this.
Okay, cool.
Okay, no, that's cool. Thank you. Well, there's nothing more then at the moment. Moving on.
That's it.
Hunters, we're done. Right. Goodness.
Well, hang on, Hunters. So
Yeah, no, it's going.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. As long as we get
It's
that,
progressing. It doesn't need the board to do.
No, we've done that, but
You've done more than.
we've done more than that.
And yeah, the others are progressing. Okay, so,
Do we prioritize today or another time? What's the next?
oh, a little hint here to. Well, it depends, like it is 3 o'clock. I guess it depends how much you want to do. I'm just gonna try and open up the board planner.
I have a question, there's some that say you want updates. How can you prioritize something until you have like the maintenance levels of service and marine structures? How
Yeah.
can you They don't know.
So when does the annual plan have to be in by?
Well, actually, you're being
March.
asked now really, to look at the capital schedule and,
Well, can we just assume that we hear back that yes, action needs on something from staff, and then we will go prioritising that way, and then if not, that if nothing does need to be done, that just gets taken out of the priority list. Do you know what I mean? So if we just always assume that action needs to be taken from whatever update from staff, then we can do a priority list.
And we do know every time you get an update, Linda's been very
proactive.
she lists every time the board does something, needs to make.
Yeah. You are very good with updating the action. Okay, so from what I'm hearing is that it would be fantastic to do our priority list today. I'm just checking in with people. Do we need a break then?
How long are we going for today?
Well, I don't, it depends on what else have we got to do after the priority list to make sure we've done everything.
We've got the same orders.
Oh, we need a break?
Yeah, we do need a break,
Yep.
so after the break.
Yeah, no, I'm still telling. I'm just figuring out how much longer after that we need. Before we go on break. Right, we will have a 10-minute break. Yeah. And then we will reconvene after that.
Turn off my brain.
No, 5 to 10.
Sounds good.
5 minutes.
Thank you. No, the meeting won't be long, so don't freak out, everybody.
Try not to.
We just need a break now.
Linda,
Don't freak out.
So this was our priorities, and then
Right, it's green. We're now, back on board, ready to roll and finish up here, but we're going to finish with a bang with our priorities. So what have we got as our things that we just updated, and how do we figure out how to prioritize them?
Where are the acronym beige ones related?
Right, Linda, did you make that one list?
Acronym beige.
I've sent it.
Heather's got it, have you got? Is that there?
Oh, sorry, that's me. I just said open.
Oh, yeah, okay. We close it. If you can move that to a far pen, if you can just move it a little bit. So, yeah, we've got A4, A8, B9, and it goes on. It's not the big list we were looking at before. This is the condensed one we've worked on.
It's the splits we've picked up.
Bits we've picked up.
All right.
Okay, now we're going to figure out how to prioritize these.
Well, it's the ones we can impact on, isn't it? It's the ones that we can get done.
Spheres of influence. Where do we have influence? Which ones can we get done?
A small, medium.
A small, medium campaign. Okay, that's one we can definitely do.
It's easily achievable.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to ask about what that requires of staff.
Heather can do it.
Thank you, Heather.
So in fact, look, you know, we can just look, it's so minor, we can just say,
Yeah.
Get that's an action point.
let's not worry about that.
Okay.
So.
So A4 is something that will just progress. So what I'm hearing is we don't need to prioritize that. Advocate for the installation of solar panels. Okay, so
That requires information.
it does require information, but
So-
that's okay. How much of a priority is that?
If we have a 1 and a 2 priority, maybe, like
Oh,
one is absolutely critical, we need to do that, it's super important, and 2 is nice to have, but not as important as 1.
Okay. So I'd imagine, yeah. How are people feeling about A8? Is it a 1 being like critical?
No,
And 2 is.
it's nice to have
Well,
at this stage, yeah.
no, but because we know the current group are working on it quite, and they've achieved a lot in a very short time. So I think maybe not us as on the buildings, but more advocacy to support the group that's trying to achieve.
Are we talking about council-owned buildings?
Well,
Yes.
council, is that would the
Yeah.
rec centre be
But this-
council? So yes.
Yeah.
I
So
would
you're
think it's
talking
Hang on.
specifically
Yeah.
about.
But
Yes, I
the
do.
project that they are working.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Oh,
to
the
say.
whole
We're
of
talking
the-
about the whole.
That's
Okay.
Livingston. That's right. It's
But we
specific.
could use them as a case study.
Well, we should have the same sort of project going
Well, maybe it might help us to find the
But-
number 1.
but did you
Scroll
say
through
that the-
and find the
Yes,
number 1?
it's benchmark,
Yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking the same.
okay. So where's the number 1 for us team? So we've got, is that the whole, no, it's not. Investigate.
Sorry,
think,
I've lost the thread of that. So what is it that did
Where-
these things represent what?
Well, to help us
A8.
prioritize,
Yeah,
we're going to look at what one might be a 1.
of things that we haven't done.
Yes?
Yeah.
This is what we're looking at now. The things that we haven't addressed or what's the other word? Achieved, thank you.
Yep.
We will allocate them at 1 or 2 so that it will help us to put them in a priority from top to bottom.
Yeah, okay.
That's where we're at right now. Thank you for checking in because I'm sure we
on.
all.
So why have we got an achieved one there?
Oh, because the second half of it's not, investigate
right.
how it connects
Okay,
us to the tourism
gotcha.
infrastructure
Sure.
levy. It's the blue writing, look
Yeah.
at the blue writing.
And we're on A8.
Which I think is quite a priority, because we don't want it to die. We don't want us to forget about it for a year.
The panel, which one are you talking about?
The destination.
Well, I think it's
Oh, no,
probably something that we can have, because we're writing letters of expectation to council controlled organisations over the coming months. It's
That's an easy one to achieve?
Yeah,
Easy.
it's something that we could do quite
Okay,
soon.
so quick and easy
Yeah.
is a different.
Yeah,
We can easily be.
It's
Okay.
the same as the
We
first
can do
one.
okay.
Low hanging fruit.
Easy.
The LHSs.
Yeah.
Low hanging fruit.
Easy.
So can you just, sorry, then we've lost you.
Yes, I completely.
Yeah, I thought we were on A8.
So A4, it's because last time we did doing priorities and then we skipped.
Yeah, so A4 is a low hanging fruit.
Okay, so that's it's a 2.
No, it means that we're going to do it anyway because it's easy.
Okay, it's not a big
It's
deal.
separate, it's just an action, I guess.
So we won't put any priorities.
That's why it's low hanging.
We'll just put staff next to it.
Easy. We'll start at the start.
Easy.
I'm out.
What would you like?
Can we,
Yeah. The ease of things, yes, easy.
Easy.
Okay, and then we kind of got stuck on the
Yeah,
fact we
I
couldn't
was-
prioritize, so we were going to find one that was a definite one, like, that's one that we are 100% all, like, yes, we need to do that and continue doing it. So that's why we scrolled down.
So you need to
Okay.
read them all first.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
then choose your number 1.
yeah, so that's what we're
Uh-huh.
going through.
Yeah.
Right,
Tell us when you
got
need
it.
us to move.
Okay. I think we're ready to move it, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I thought,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Public toilets. You see this is.
Yeah. Next.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
Okay, shall I throw something out there if we have finished reading it?
Mhm.
D17. Yeah, the query around marine structures. Because it falls under the, yeah, how good we bounce back in a state of emergency, I guess. Is that, I'm just gonna start somewhere, is this one?
I think this could be one, and it's easily achievable as well.
Emergency,
So it's a
resilient.
little bit high on it, so.
Yeah. And it's easily achievable.
Mhm.
That can be understood by everybody.
High, we did it.
Yeah, okay.
Any other ones for people that are sticking out that they want to put to the table?
The tourism infrastructure levy, because
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah, I think
that was,
could be
that was easy,
easily be
wasn't it?
done,
Yeah,
achieved.
that was easy.
Yeah.
The levy one.
Yeah,
This is what you're saying is high.
Do we have those around the table?
yeah.
Yes.
You can't have them all high.
So that's,
That's it, I
But it
think.
was
Yeah.
under easy, wasn't it? So you have easy and high.
so all we're talking about for that one is we're going to make sure that we connect with the staff and say who's applying to the Tourism Infrastructure Fund for what assets on Banks
Yes.
Peninsula, please.
Correct. And then
Do you
let's
have any
tick off.
suggestions for assets that they could be looking at? Because when you suggested the little rubber toilets, that did,
Okay.
are there any other suggestions?
Yes,
The-
yes.
Yes.
The reserve budget,
For what?
reserves
Specifically?
budget for their, they're doing triennial plans, the reserve committees.
Yeah, this is for infrastructure, not just plantings.
Okay.
So it's
So
like
that
tourism.
that could be
Upgrading
something.
the water and sewage in Akara could come under that. It's infrastructure. I'm
Parking?
just thinking outside the square here.
Yeah,
That could-
yeah,
I'm just getting.
Potentially. Stanley Park, that boardwalk could potentially be something like the toilet facility on the recreation grant in Accra.
no.
We talked about in the past, there's been, discussion around showers and outdoor showers and stuff. So if that facility is
Upgrade the
upgraded
toilet, yeah.
and outdoor shower could be
In a
installed,
flood zone.
yeah.
So
So that,
just looked up the criteria for
Yeah.
applying to it, and it's examples of how visitors head directly contribute to natural heritage they enjoy and the infrastructure they use.
Which reserves?
Yeah.
Port-
Natural
Port-
heritage. Just
Then there has to
tons.
be a particular, like a walkway. or a-
Oh, well.
Yeah,
there's a
so-
river
Could be,
walkway.
could be tree planting.
Okay, so coming back to Nigel's suggestion,
Mm.
get
Head to head.
go through the reserve committee triennial plans and identify possible TIF
Yep,
items.
absolutely. And there's, I bet you there's a lot of stuff they haven't put in because they know there's no budget for it.
No, they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have. They've been working with the parks
Yeah, I know they have,
on
but
their
parks.
dreams and things. I bet Garden, I bet Suki's got half a dozen things in hers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so this, projects like that, you know,
Yes.
it is in the platform, it doesn't mean that the facility is not being used, it is being used, it's right on the waterfront, next to the campground. And if that facility is not maintained, then we have issues of litter and all those issues that we have had in the past. And that provides access to Woodall's Track, and that goes straight into Purple Peak and then Hanawai. That is the access track to Hanawai, basically, that's the
That's
gateway.
right. That's a gateway.
Can I
What is
put-
the,
The toilet facility on the recreation ground in
Oh,
front of the
right.
bowling club.
really?
Yes,
Yeah, we put showers there.
Because people
So-
come here, use the
yes, so
loo, blah, blah, blah.
that's because
and
it's
then you get out of the
parking,
street.
recreation ground and everything there, beach
Massive,
access,
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
so
reckon that
yes.
we could come up with quite a few. I'm wondering that whether another workshop might be a good idea.
When does it close?
Yeah, good idea.
I'm just looking for more information.
Because there's a
And
bunch
Because our staff have to research well, they have to prioritise them and research the ones that they think are worth a go.
And then the one that might take a bit of pressure out of council is winery, toilet block and things like that. We have got a lot of facilities that could be upgraded.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Well, the Wainui one should be well on track.
Okay, can I
Yeah.
just, so you get your thoughts right? The grants are from a minimum of 50,000 to 100,000. So you can think of that.
yeah, I think that is,
Co-funding of 50% is required,
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. The reserves have got a budget already.
yep,
They can double it.
the council has got,
Wake up.
Come on, over the hill, guys, let's go.
and anything bigger could go through regional deals. Good money there, man,
Go to what?
This,
regional deals,
that's very specific
We
too.
don't know what they look like.
infrastructure.
We won't get regional deals and the government chooses those regions anyway.
Well, council
It's not
lobbies.
funding, it's not funding.
Yeah, council lobbies, yeah.
Regional, that regional fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go forward to that.
So if we could do a workshop around that, I would find that particularly helpful. It doesn't have to be a long one, but then people can go away and think about and go back through their notes of all the areas that might be applicable.
Oh, it gets a huge list.
Yeah.
It's
The main
closed.
road,
Voting.
people going down to Pātaka Penguin.
Okay,
Okay.
work towards next year.
Yeah.
Which is why you want your public toilet information.
Right, so going back to the priorities, so that's obviously high. Have you got everything we need there to move forward?
Workshop to identify.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have purpose, workshop
And
to
to
identify.
Opportunities for spend funding.
Identify. To apply.
That will get a lot of positive feedback. It's just, why are we doing this plan? And here's the answer.
Yeah, yeah.
We've done the plan. This is how it's going to work.
Well, we can update and have a little think about one other high and then we'll go for a low.
This year they had a very short time. They opened it on July the 27th.
Yeah, it is like that.
It's
Yeah.
very close. So you could do the work now.
Get everything ready.
That will tie in with your parks roadshow, when Parks come and talk to you about the capital program and what they've got planned, you can talk then and identify and talk about this tourism focus. And you can talk about the fund. Yeah, that would be good.
And also transport is another unit that you could talk to and through waters community.
Yeah.
But also you might find you want to put in the submission, you have to apply and assist council with funding for.
Right, well,
Thank you.
anybody got a suggestion for a high?
I think the others are still ticking on.
Sorry, can we put workshop before June 2025? Because if the fund opens in July, we need to be.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
We could do this year probably.
What were you going to say, Nigel?
Sorry?
What were you going to say about the priorities?
Oh, well, I don't know if the others, it's very hard to, because there's feedback required briefing. There's also, there is progress on all of them anyway, isn't there?
Yeah. So imagine if we got the progress back, would this help? If we, the staff advice back or any update back, and it did require some action
Yeah.
from the community board, where would it then be on the priority list for us? So we're kind of assuming that we've heard everything back. And yes, it requires action from us. So for example, ask for staff advice in regards to undertake the progress for the ECSs. We've heard back, actually not all the areas that we know of are not under the sites of ecological significance. Where does that come under a priority for us?
I would put, because the biodiversity has been a key focus of this board, so that based on that narrative, it will.
Okay, do we have any consensus on that? I don't see any, opposition to that, so I'll take that as a consensus. Okay. The sites of ecological site, ECSs. So we put that as a high. Okay. Would it be helpful now to look at a lower one? Not saying it's valuable, but we only have so many hours a day, and we've only got so much time left in this term.
Well, the lower one would be the public toilets,
Yes.
because you want information from that before you do your workshop in June.
Right. Yeah. Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
No, the public will be allowed.
No.
Because it's just to contribute to that.
Yeah.
And it's, even though it's a high one, it's a wee way away.
So as far as
Yes,
action,
that's right.
that's the low priority.
We can't, there's nothing much we can do with that one really, in the time constraints we have.
You just have to ask the question.
And some of this will be dependent, sorry. Some of this will be dependent on if it's within our sphere of influence. If it's not within our, because we think it's low priority.
No, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can't, if we haven't got the ball,
Yeah.
can't kick it, can we?
So how does that relate to, I guess, just what I'm looking at here, planning, yes, the big rule, planning for undertaking to provide safe routes for children. School.
Theory,
What's within our,
we can't do much about that either, really, apart from keep advocating.
Priority list to say to the.
It has to be low, I know, for that very reason, I think. There's a sphere of influence. Walk in here.
You're not asking it to do, actually, you're asking it to plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, if someone died, we'd be jumping on it. So we don't want that to happen.
No, I hear what you're saying, but what can we do in the 12-month window? We can plan, we can advocate.
Yeah.
So where does that sit? It's not because we don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I think there's a bigger picture here that we haven't identified. That people have just taken for granted that they have to walk on a dangerous situation.
I would just like the traffic engineer to come to see the board periodically.
Yeah, and draw it into
I
our
would like to, I would like it to be quarterly, but I recognise that would probably be a big ask.
Right.
But like 6 monthly,
Yeah.
just to say, this is what I'm working on.
Yeah.
this is what's on the back burner. Is everyone comfortable with, just to give us, so that we can give a steer?
Yes,
Yeah, and then.
At the moment, we're just operating in like this universe of like, well, we've got all these things.
waiting
we
for
want
something to happen
Yeah.
and so we've got to fix it.
Okay, okay, so staff will say, that's really operational, my staff are doing that, doing their job, why do you need to know that?
Because
They don't.
it's still our role to be able to provide direction, and at the moment we're not being given the opportunity to provide direction.
Yeah, so you'd like to assist with maybe prioritising,
Yeah.
giving feedback about
Around
some of those issues that
projects.
these things.
About those projects they are working on the peninsula, so
Yeah.
where we could contribute for them to do their job better.
So that sounds quite high to me.
It's the only transport one you have in that list, so.
And that includes walkways, pedestrian crossings and,
They are safety issues.
Anything that's on a road,
okay,
yeah.
And we want to mind the children. We also want to mind the tourists that are walking down, filming their progress through town.
yeah.
And then the opportunity, then he could say to us, well, look, I can't do the safe route for children through Littleton at the moment because I'm donkey deep and a crossing at Rākaihautū and Governor's Bay and whatever. And then we'll say, well, that's fine. Or maybe we won't.
Are we not talking about anything here in Accra? Because there's nothing.
No one's complained here. That's why there's nothing there. That was my point.
That will be for the next step, that will be for the.
It all works, everything works, but the traffic's perfect in Akarawa.
Fantastic.
No, you're right.
I'm dodging tourists every day.
But that was the beach road.
I'm quite
They never
keen to
made
bring
it
in,
formally, but they
Paying for parking in Akarawa, what do you reckon?
didn't
Yeah.
action it. They did.
Yeah, so
Not for
where
locals.
the
It's just not.
beach road
Yeah.
presentation they gave, the pedestrian
Right.
crossing.
Where did
Yeah,
that get to?
I think
Mm.
people
Okay,
come
well,
here
it's done.
because
That's we've got that
it's a
on the
cheap
list.
day out. They
Just
can afford to go to a
not put on
restaurant,
there.
they don't have to pay $30 like they do. I would say that
Are they talking
Anybody
about
else? This is actually about opportunities
Mm.
to
To
prioritize
remember
that.
that.
People come here because.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to stop people coming to Akarawa if you charge them for parking.
So we'll put that as high, so,
Which is
specifically around regular
Monday,
updates
it's the
around the
Monday,
area of
see.
traffic engineer. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What other ones have we got to prioritize? Okay, so solar panels. Ooh. Is it? Yeah.
We've already got two ones, SESs and marine structures.
Uh,
You can't have more than two ones.
Oh.
Are solar panels more important than the significant ecological sites, or are significant ecological
No.
sites more important?
It depends, like on some level, right? Like we've got this declared climate emergency, right? So we should be taking steps. Okay, this seems like a little thing, but it's always, the longest journey starts with a single step and all that sort of stuff,
That's cool.
right? So
You
it's kind of
got
like, it's sort of important, but obviously it's not like pressing right now that we put solar panels on all our buildings, but we sort of have to lead by example as well. So we need to.
So do you put it ahead of SESs or below it?
So we want to see what is visible. So SES can easily be achievable in the next year that we have as compared to this one. So we put,
You need information.
yeah, it's an information, so it is easily achievable. So below that.
Yeah, the SES.
Solar panels.
You have to choose one or the other, information on, because we're not going back with, I'm not asking for
SES, I
eight
think.
things. So all those in favour of SESs? Sorry, lose it.
No.
All those in favour of SESs being ahead
Oh,
of
yeah,
solar
I'd-
panels?
Oh,
Kathy, sorry, okay.
So you can only have one.
SES is one.
Yeah.
You still
Hang on,
have-
do you get a vote on this, Ken?
No, I'm just indicating, it was a visual indicator.
Start again.
Raise your hand.
Yeah, do it again.
Do it again.
Okay,
SES.
All of you.
If
Okay.
you want SESs, raise your hand as the number one, otherwise.
What are we up against?
Solar panels.
Yeah, solar panels.
So-
Oh, hang on.
Okay, who wants, you have to choose one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hand up,
For me
you can
to
use your
run
hand once, one time. SESs, hands up.
What is the option?
1, 2, 3. Solar panels is the other option. 2.
Not
SES. Thank
Well,
you.
Well,
That's all right. That's all right.
you got the right spot.
Just said that it depends on the national policy direction, but that's not gonna happen.
The destination management plan, the letter, it's about, well, actually, that's about boots and all, letter of intent from council. Tyrone would be advocating and the board would advocate, doing all sorts of things, if you want to stir that along. Do you want to stir that along more than you want to stir along SCSs?
Yes,
Or do you
I
want
think
to
so.
do-
Absolutely,
Because it's pressing right now.
Okay,
And it's
hands up.
money.
Okay, so we're going to vote DMP versus SES. DMP, hands up.
Which one is more realistic?
Which is more important to?
Yeah.
Getting money.
No,
One of
destination.
the money spent on
DMP itself did not identify any implementation plan, so how are we gonna implement
That's
it?
the point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's what you're going to be advocating
That's what we're
about.
advocating for.
Where is the plan?
we are.
and actually that does have a
advocating for the plan,
climate
We're making it,
outcome as
we're
well.
making it. That's what I'm seeing here.
so where's the
We're
money
making
coming
it.
from?
Well,
Well, so the fund.
Yeah, we don't have money.
If we put it into the letter of expectation for Christchurch NZ, then we necessarily have to fund it, right? Like, you know, to achieve that. 'Cause- so,
for some of it.
well, you know,
Council.
not we, but like council does,
Council,
right?
yeah.
Like, because, so the first step is to say, we want you to do this. And then they'll come back and say, well, we can't do it unless you don't get, you gotta give us some money.
So we are
Somebody-
adding that in the annual plan.
Well, or someone
Submission.
needs to talk to the government. Where's the
Yeah.
government's money to implement
Yeah.
the
The council.
DMPs that they?
Yeah, that's right, but we have to take it to the
Okay.
council to get that.
Yeah, but
Okay.
first, we need to give Christchurch NZ the steer that they need to do something about it. And then, Then we've-
Doesn't mean
letter of
that
expectation.
SES could be up there in the high stool. It's just
Yeah.
about prioritising, 1, 2.
Yeah,
They can't do a thing if we don't tell them to do it.
well,
That's
go for
right.
it then. That's-
They'll just say, they'll just turn around and go, oh, you
Like
didn't
cycle
ask us to do
kids.
anything,
Yeah.
so we're not gonna do anything about the destination
Doesn't
management
bring it
plan.
up, doesn't it?
Well, let's give it a go, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep,
Major
not?
what
Yeah.
decision.
yeah.
good job.
Right, so who's voting for DMP ahead of SES?
DMP.
Okay.
It's also,
Good, unanimous.
listen to what my listen up a sec. The council has endorsed that both, Vex Peninsula and Otautahi Christchurch, management plan that, close collaboration with councils, local sector, implementing them with a focus on building capability and regenerative tourism. So the impact on the tourism is managed.
And that is regenerative tourism.
So they
That's
have
right, keyword.
promised, well, working on implementing, it is a focus that we've been seeing for
Okay.
10 years. Yeah, cool, thank you for
That's
that.
good.
Where are we at? Yeah,
Okay. TIF funding stuff. Are you wanting to do that, activate that before the DMP stuff? The tourism infrastructure fund stuff, workshopping, I know it's in the, you know, you're heading towards June, hopefully if they run it again next year.
I think yes, because that is time sensitive. So we
Okay.
could prioritize that, work on that so that application is ready to put in.
So tourism infrastructure fund, work first, DMP work second.
They both
Well-
would complement, but yeah, one is.
One feeds the other, but
Yeah.
doesn't, it's a chicken and egg thing,
That is
isn't
a wee bit.
Yeah.
it? I think the DMP has to go and drive the funding.
What's the timing around the DMP?
We won't have time
Tyrone?
to get
Sorry, what's the
achieve that during the.
That
I think it's
like
November.
now.
Yeah, it's kind of in the next
Okay.
few
Yeah.
months.
Maybe.
I can actually answer that
to
with
be
some-
in before-
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, so that's.
Okay, so
Uh,
that's urgent.
We just found out that the DMP letter of intent, we might have a short lead in time, that might.
Next month.
Letter
November.
of expectation for CCHL and statement of intent. that's all happening. Oh, that's like happening this month, basically. So yeah, it's like real soon.
Okay, October.
So should we be putting, council will be lobbying to get some of that fund allocated to the peninsula?
That's not the fund, the DUP.
So we should probably write to Linda and say what's the process for us asking for things to be put in the letter of expectation, because
Okay. So are we happy to make that a priority because of the timing?
Time frame.
Yeah.
High, back to DMP being high.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
TIF,
and then the rich, then the.
tourism infrastructure fund stuff.
I just want to.
Very great.
Public toilets,
Oh, gosh.
it feeds into the tourism infrastructure
It's
fund.
all part of it, yeah.
So actually, I think you need that before tourism and infrastructure. Okay,
That's a
so
high,
public toilets. And then TIF.
high one.
And then down to ECS and solar panels below that. Marine structures. Where's marine structures compared to the DMP, or the DMP's urgent?
Yeah.
Now,
It overrides it at the moment, I think.
where's marine structures compared to public toilets?
I think public toilets are part of the DMP, aren't they?
No, not this one, not a.
Tourism levy.
Do you want to know about marine structures first or public toilets first?
I think public toilets.
College was, I think.
Just that's
yeah,
for the
Julia,
workshop June.
Do you have a preference, marine structures or public toilets?
I'd go with public toilets.
Yeah, right.
As a user of it.
Staying into the more important stuff.
there are some things that. Oh, sorry.
Yes, so Pam, when you say public toilets are high.
Higher than marine structures.
Okay.
And are marine structures higher than doing the TIF work? They're probably part of the TIF. They could feed into the TIF
Could do,
work.
yes.
Okay, so they do come before the TIF work. Okay, it's a bit of a flow chart going on here. Marine structures. Connected walkways. That the bottom one, the traffic engineering one. Request an update, working on the board receiving regular updates. Cycle park facilities and yeah, I'll add to the regular updates in there twice. We've said it was high. Is it as high as the public toilet work?
Well, again, like it's just it's not that it's higher. There are just some things that should be almost like the public toilet stuff is almost like something that should be permanently on a board. Oh, the marine structures stuff definitely is something that should just be permanently on a board submission to an ATP
And there should be.
or ATP process.
Yeah.
We're always every year we should just be saying we just want to make sure that we've got. Can you give us reassurance? Do we need to adjust anything? With toilets, yeah, we're always trying to have those maintained or whatever. But there are some things that we're trying to expedite at the moment, so maybe it's a slightly different conversation. But yeah, this walkway stuff is again like it's just it's not so much that it's urgent, but there's just a constant flow of things on certain roads that we just want to have feedback on.
Risk management goes with projects.
So it's not. So I would say that it's lower than all of those things because it's just something that we should just get feedback on as a matter of course.
Yeah, I agree.
And they should be doing nomograms every project. You know what a nomogram is? Can you?
So what? Sorry,
A nomogram.
a nonogram.
Nomogram, where you actually prioritise the risks and the points. It's a simple program you can run.
Okay, so I've got to do, I'll put that on the do anyway list. Because you're right, it's a foundation of information that flows, it's an ongoing, regular thing to that.
Yeah.
Public toilets is a defined thing to know about what's happening.
Yeah.
The marine structures is a defined thing to know about. So that you can feed into the tourism industry.
Well, the thing with the toilets is that like there are just some that we want to just get up. There are just some things that we're quite hot on at the moment, like Wainui, that we just want to make sure that. But usually we shouldn't have to submit on toilets in an LTP or an annual plan because it's BAU stuff.
Basic infrastructure.
In a universe where we don't need things expedited, where we don't need toilets at the devotional boat ramp or Wainui toilets upgraded or whatever.
All the little river ones finding.
But marine structures are always, they're never really BAU. We just need to, it's just a constant monitoring because they're constantly being impacted by all these sort of weather factors and
Well, it's
whatever.
not something they should be BAU, but there's always a change in the amount of people that use them. So like, for example, since COVID, it was so quiet, the facilities were fine, but since then, and 5 years worth of use of like thousands and thousands of people a day, that's not BAU.
And some of them are old.
Still.
But once we've got them all upgraded,
Yeah.
there should be like a program of work where they're just upgraded every.
Well, the marine structures are the same.
Yeah.
They need to be fit for purpose, including the future, and once they're
Toilets the
upgraded.
same.
like
But I would
the
argue if the Little River toilets went down, the community's not going to fall apart. Whereas
Oh, tourism would be greatly affected.
What would fall apart mean though? This kind of remember.
I mean, some things are. If the Goffs Bay Road gets wiped out, Asif and others
Yeah.
down the road,
So you mean life?
the Mace Fields are going to be completely locked out, right? So that's critical to their safety and well-being. But yeah, so some
But
things
not
just-
not in Pigeon Bay because they have got 3 accesses. That's what,
Three
3
of us.
accesses.
Yeah. I
That's
guess
fine.
just some things are just more mission critical if they fail than others.
And I guess we're not comparing things with each other, we're comparing with what's within our sphere to be able to do and the timeframe that we have to do them in. So yeah, we could definitely it would be a dangerous thing to try and compare
Yeah.
priorities by importance.
Yeah.
I don't think we should do that, but we do have to prioritise what's within our sphere of influence and what can we do with the capacity that we have and the time that we have.
You've got less than 12 months.
But also keep things going, so like there's
Exactly.
also legacy plans, so I understand that some of the stuff will be legacy, we want to
That's
maintain
right.
stuff, we want to maintain the toilets, we want to keep those on board all the time.
So I mean, my view would be like toilets are ahead of marine structures
Yes, okay.
because
Yeah.
it's quite specific. I heard Liz laugh at the cackle.
They're happy because they already had it, they
So good. Yeah.
yeah,
And the road update as well, because
so is that all there and written up there, have we got
the
everything?
toilets are urgent, it's the nature of toilets.
Need, very basic.
Yeah, people have been sitting on a bus for an hour and a half and they turn up here. This is why they park here.
Yeah, remember we're live streaming too.
Yeah.
Yes, so how are we going with all of our achieved and priorities?
I think it's done.
Are we done? Are we done?
I had one of my best friends was visiting from Auckland a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, he really needed to use the loo." And I took him to the Littleton public toilets. He came out of them saying, "Oh my God, these are so great. We wouldn't have anything like this in Auckland."
Oh,
I was like,
Christchurch.
"You're welcome."
Yeah, right, I think we're covered. I think we've got it. I've got an order.
Right, we've got an order. Okay, that's fantastic. What's next?
2 fish.
There were
Hot
some
dog
other
and
things
chips.
that we were going to bring up that can wait for another time, especially for, future board plan, and plan, I mean. Is there anything else that we've missed off, Linda, or Ben?
No. That's good, we've got a hit list.
Good.
Here we go. That's us then. Good job, Tana, proud of you.
Oh,
Proud of you.
we're proud of you too, Mother. Well done. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll finish with the card here.
No, no.
I'll let you know at the door. Okay.
Te tinana, te wairoa i te ara takata. Koe rā e rongo whakairia a ki runga. Tina.